Hello, everybody. Glad to be here with you guys tonight for this special edition of Maximus Crypto. Some people are going to say, how is this special edition? You're supposed to be on at this time anyway. Very true. But it's normally not just at, something which is like one subject, Jasmy. Well, I've been wanting to be with you guys for the last few days. And, oh, man, I found out some info the last few days. And I said to myself, I want to fully connect the dots. I want to bring some solid research to present to you guys without just being inconclusive or to be continued. So, with that said, please smash the like if you haven't done so already. It does trigger the YouTube algorithm. Already have a really nice turnout so far, excuse me. And let's go ahead and welcome some of you guys. I won't be able to click on all the comments, but what I'm gonna try my best to do is just simply welcome a lot of you guys. So the first comment I saw was from the one and only Richie Rich. Got a front row seat for this Jasmy Bombshell Max for the win. Hey man, thank you so much. It's just me presenting the info. You guys take it as you will, but I thought it was pretty big. There's going to be some things we're going to talk about that's going to, in my opinion, kind of confirm some things for the bigger picture. Try not to get too excited, and I'm trying to hype it up, but the research will speak for itself. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, what I'm going to do now is also turn on the branding. Please give me a follow over on the X platform. I do post exclusive content over there sometimes, so I appreciate the support. Let's get into the next comment. There's quite a few, obviously. Tim Shea sprays from far away. Thank you for being here. Mayor Crypto Commissioner Tim Shea, representing the 589th District of the XRP Armies, fellow constituents. Thank you so much for being here. All right, George Harvey, welcome. He says, hello, glad to have you. Brittany is in the house. Jim Miller is in the house. Appreciate you guys being here. There's HTN in the house. Rick Cogswell in the house. A lot of you guys in the house, right? Stump Rider. So I'm going to jump to the other screen real quick and just kind of rapid fire go through some of these because, we got good problems tonight. And, we kind of normally try to start like right at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. But I was like, well, I need a tad bit more time, and I got it done, and I was so glad that I did. So, all right, Rick Cogswell, glad to have you, brother. Welcome back. Suli's in the house. We got Crypto Future Rob. He's going to be joining me. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or it'll be over the weekend, but we're going to figure something out that's going to work for both of us. It might not even be at 9 p.m. Eastern. I want to kind of, be accommodating to Rob in his schedule as well. Give him a follow over at the Crypto Future. A lot of you guys are already doing that. Love the statement. What up, Jasmy fam? Max is bringing the alpha. Not hitting the like button is a scam. Yes, scam. Jasmy, not the scammer. It's cool. All right. We also got Element Rage. You're so stoked. Thank you so much, man. Boomer F and Sooner is in the house. Welcome. I know you always joke around with some of those disappointment guests. I always think it's funny, but thank you, Boomer. Glad to have you here. We also got Bala Clava Man. Welcome back. A lot of you guys here. Corey Bibe, aka Just Me Not the Scammer. It's cool. He's in the house. Glad to have you, Beebs. And a lot of you guys, Chase, Crypto Homes, 777. Lots of familiar faces from the community. Dennis Chong, thank you for some of those emails. I might not necessarily share it tonight, but maybe on a future episode. So a lot of you guys to welcome. Dwight Von Stress, X marks the spot. GS, like I said, a lot of you guys to welcome. So what we're gonna just do now is get right into it. And later on, I'll try at the end of the outline, try to do like kind of like a Q&A and answer some of the questions and so on. So let's see how we're doing just real quick on the likes. We are currently sitting at 82 people watching, 22 likes. So again, smashing the like triggers the algorithm. Let's see if we can get up to over 100. That'd be great. We're at 51. All right, about 5 minutes in. Let's just kick it right into it, the moment you've been waiting for. So let's just start up the branding real quick because that definitely helps as far as the markers, all that good stuff. And there we go. So lately, you guys have seen, obviously, Jasmy. It's been taken off. It's been going to, like, for instance, 2 cents, a little over 2 cents. I'm looking at the overall crypto market. I mean, we're at, 2.227 trillion. We haven't seen these type of figures since the last particular bull run. I mean, that is definitely a thing. I'll come out of the screen for a second. So, yeah, 2.27 trillion. Is investor place right are we going to see a little bit of pullback here soon? How long is that? Well, hard to say, but BTC and Ethereum dominating, right? And they've always dominated in the past, 81% overall crypto market. When you click on 7-day chart, you do see some ones that are interesting, especially Jasmy, to now break into the top 100. And some people asking, will it stay above 2 cents? It's kind of hard to say, but we did have a milestone of over a $1 billion market cap. Earlier the other day, I was looking at Jasmy. I said to myself, my God, if Jasmy hits $1, that would put it at the current market cap, right? Not future market cap, current market cap of what you're about to see right here, which is Solana. Let me pull that one up. So you put it right around Solana's market cap. Well, see, Solana even broke out as well. But basically, at the time of reading it, it was like $49 billion market cap for Solana. So in reality, it's anywhere between XRP and Solana. But a few days ago, before Jasmy went really crazy to 2 cents, that's where it was at. So we're looking at another 50x. Can we make it happen? Can we hit $1 to put Jasmy at $49 to $50 billion market cap? I think it's more than doable. And basically speaking, I'm come back in the frame and just explain why I feel as though it's more than doable. Jasmy's your thing. Please smash the like I mentioned. Let's get this program out to a larger base. So I'm going to take you over to this first. Let's start things off with this first. Shout to Rob and a few other guys who shared this video. Why am I pointing out this video? Well, for one, I didn't have enough room in the thumbnail to also include Taiwan. I'm human. I should have included Taiwan as well. But here's the thing. It's semiconductors. Is there really something in regards to Jasmy having this connection, or is it a nothing burger? I don't think it's a nothing burger. I'm going to present why I don't think it's a nothing burger. I'll give you a little clue for a second. Tadashi Morita of Jasmy. That should be your main key takeaway if you're taking notes on this one. All right. He matters, in my humble opinion, just as much as the next guy. If we're going to talk about Kunitake Ando and Kazumasa Sato, who also has made patents, you have to include Tadashi Morita into the bigger picture. Now, why is that? Well, we're going to start things off with this first. I've already fast forwarded it to the key parts I want you to pay attention to. And immediately, some of the things said in regards to this particular meeting, right, or addressing the nation, or wherever you want to call this, I think it's important. If you're wondering what this is the Hong Kong budget address of 2024. It did stream roughly the other day, February 27th, right, just a couple days ago. And on the description, it says Hong Kong Financial Secretary Paul Chan delivering his 2024-2025 budget policy address as the city braces to record a deficit for the fourth time out of the past 5 financial years, other than 2021, 2022, has some shortfalls. He addresses this whole thing of, expected to outline measures to boost income, cut expenditures, and develop new industries. Your key takeaway should be the new industries, the partnerships, and so on. Why is this important? We're going to get into that. Let's go ahead and play this. Again, please smash the like. Here we go. Hold on a sec. I see what you guys are saying. I am so sorry. Hold on. Sorry about that. No sound, muted, no sound. That is horrible. All right, look, I'm gonna just reshare this again. Bear with me. I have some technical stuff going on. I will fast or rewind it back to that particular mark. Let's just get back to that real quick. So just double checking some settings, and I believe it is 40, 44. Yeah, 44 mark. There we go. Okay. Let's rewind this just a tad bit more. This is at 44:20. My bad. It's not gonna be on the exact mark. All right. Let's try one more time. If I see the sound, if I see you guys saying there's still no sound, I don't know why it's doing that, but that's so strange. Shouldn't be doing that. We will try one more time. That's all we can do. All right. Let's try one more time to share this. Apologize for that. Here we go. Okay. That's great. So basically speaking, my connection must have got rugged. There must have been some kind of update. So give me just a second. I do apologize. I was on a Zoom call earlier today, and it must have just messed up my settings somehow, which sucks. Which totally sucks. So give me just a second. Um, that is the lamest thing I've ever seen. All right. You guys don't like seeing this, obviously. So let me just double check. I'm gonna share just a quick snippet, and then you report if you can see it. I apologize. I was on a Zoom call for work earlier, and it messed up my settings somehow. Um, all right, let's see. Let's try to see if we can get that for you. Hold on, I gotta fast forward to that spot. Sorry. All right, let me know if you can see this. Just give me a heads up if you can see that. Oh my goodness. For excuse me, for all the nights for this to happen, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I am so sorry, you guys. That is so lame. To see something like that. So just do default real quick. Hold on. Do one more test. present this real quick on a tab, right? On a freaking tab. Let me know if you can hear it. All right. All right. Well, I have this written down. We're going to get through it. It's still going to be good. You guys can at least hear my voice, correct? Because I do have another thing where it has everything he said kind of mentioned, but it would have been a nice little video for you guys. So at least tell me if you could hear me. If you can, great. Again, I apologize. Let me just see, double check you guys can hear me real quick. Okay. Just just give me a thumbs up or just say that you can hear me now. And then from here, I'm not going to share any more videos. So, okay. All right, great. So what we're going to do now is going to start over on this. So look, the point was this gentleman who is basically speaking, he is by the name of, his name is Paul Chan. He was delivering a 2024-2025 budget policy. Chan's address is expected to outline measures to boost income, cut expenditures, and develop new industries, right? There's some key things I want to point out. So specifically Hong Kong, right? Why is that such a big deal? Well, if anything, I'm going to show you this. You'll at least see this because there's no sound on this, and I apologize about everything. I didn't know that was going to happen. I will do a test stream later on to get it all sorted out. But basically, we know about Avita, the Hong Kong connection. Now, when we get more into this, you're going to see why this is a big deal. So for one, back in the day, roughly June 16th, right, last summer, Hara posted this update. He says, we're pleased to share material from Avita, Jasmy's Hong Kong partner, right? Announcing the world's first blockchain PC. If you have any requests regarding, use cases, contact us individually. A lot of people covered the whole thing of Avita. You see this here, Avita blockchain. All Avita laptop models are blockchain applications ready together with Jasmy secure PC solution. When you kick it over to the next part, you'll see that Jasmy got this whole thing of, secure PC solution, showcases capabilities of Avita laptops as blockchain ready devices, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to keep in mind that there's a big thing in regards to Jasmy and obviously Avita. No kidding. To get more into this, I always call this guy in the past Hara's homeboy. Now, the reason why I mentioned he is Hara's homeboy for multiple reasons. So, as you can see, this is Akira. You can be followed Akira88. He is basically also an ambassador. Like it says, Jasmy Lab co-founder, xt.com, Jasmy/Jasmy ambassador in the greater China area. And he's also part of this new thing called Junction. Back in April 17th of 2023, he mentions that Daily China did a great job of summarizing the activities in Hong Kong, at least last year. They also mentioned Jasmy. Like it says, it's in Chinese, but we, take a look into the English if you want. Yes, I do want to do that. I want to point out some key things on why I think all this simply makes sense. So, Japanese IoT platform developer Jasmy joined that course joint venture, as we know, with Avita. But when you get more into this, okay, you will see this statement. For one, it says established joint venture with Avita Jasmy Hong Kong Limited. Jasmy will provide data management solutions to the new company, helping Avita provide customers with secure computer solutions and devices with personal data lockers. Right. The integration of Jasmy IoT platform and secure PC solutions, the company will provide data as a service. Don't forget that part. Data as a service devices as a service to B2B customers, providing an ideal solution to remote office. Also, don't forget about that. Jasmy, of course, hope to expand. They're about on the verge to do this. Now, the key thing was this. Even though there were sound problems and so on, and when I do the recording, I'll just literally inject it, and you guys will see a little bit of that. But it's this. where it says fintech applications, blockchain, cryptocurrency, secure IoT solutions from Japan to the Asia Pacific region, eventually go global. Go global. And the point is this: in that address, I did get to play it for you on the record. You'll see it. That gentleman specifically mentions about this going global. AI in regards to data protection, he mentions it over and over. And Hong Kong going gangbusters to invest in not only the startups, but the ones that are like, Web3, have a huge presence in Web3. Everything he mentions literally is Jasmy's utility from beginning to end. I'm telling you flat out. You see it later. If you choose to watch it chopped up, you'll see that specifically. Now, I want to take you guys to this, and that is basically this PDF. It's called cdn.accesspartnership.com. And just to double check that you can see it, I'm going to check the other screen because obviously I'm having, technical problems. So you do see it. I decided to full screen it for you, and I want to get into this. Like it says, transforming Hong Kong into a smart city. Why am I sharing this with you guys? Well, for one, it's 2021, but we're going to also have a nice rounded out outline from where this started, technically speaking, especially with Hong Kong, to the present. Talks about economic opportunities, digital technologies, skills, Google's contribution. And you see quite a few things here, right? Digital technologies can unlock up to HK or Hong Kong D 387 billion, which is 50 billion US worth of economic value in 2030. Talks about all this stuff about the plan, the 3 pillars of action. But when you get further down into it, talks about the benefits to businesses, consumers, and society. Now, this gentleman that was in the video that did his presentation on February 27th, he is Paul Chan, and he is Hong Kong's financial secretary. And he addresses a lot of things in which is not only going to help Hong Kong, but it's going to help the region. Okay. Look at this for a second. Stepping into Hong Kong's digital future, digital technologies and skills can unlock significant economic value. Of course, in Hong Kong, they have this whole outline about forecasts of GDP blasting off, how they can facilitate all this, incorporating other things, enabling businesses to take off. There's an executive summary. I mean, it gives a whole, as the saying goes, smart city blueprint for Hong Kong back in 2020 and all the way to like 2030 and so on. Now, when I got more into this, I decided to, take you guys here basically. Now, here is what we were trying to show you. Let me come back into the frame for a second. This is a summary, to a sense, of that video. So I'm glad I kind of had a backup. All right. What you're going to see here some key highlights from the address from Mr. Chan. Okay. And in this, it mentions some of these key things that need to just be presented to everybody, not just me and a few other people from the research consortium. But like it says, the government of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region press release. Talks about the budget speech, obviously by him, International Innovation and Technology Center. Look at this. In his speech, which was translated into English for us, and which we couldn't hear it, unfortunately, talks about how the government has committed substantial resources to building a vibrant INT ecosystem. If anything, I'll just blow it up a little bit more if you can see it full screen. So this ecosystem, that is one of the key things you should be following along with. By focusing, enhancing INT infrastructure, research, capacity, talent, the Hong Kong Science Park and Cyberport are INT flagships and incubators for the city. At the end of 2023, the number of tenants of these 2 flagships, together with past current incubatees, if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong, amounted to some 4,500, an increase of more than 60% over the last 5 years. Among them, 16 have been listed, 9 have been unicorns. That's funny. And a total of some 130 billion have been raised, while more than 1,700 local and non-local awards have been won. Now, in regards to AIs, this is some of, I guess you could say, the somewhat juicy stuff. Talks about AI, artificial intelligence. important driver of a new round of technological and industrial transformation, key to propelling the development of digital economy in Hong Kong. Cyberport, expediting the establishment of AI supercomputing center to meet the demand of research institutes, industry for computing power. Think about that for a second, computing power. And I'll get in the whole thing about Tadashi Morita and why this matters, because if you don't know who Tadashi Morita is, part of Jasmy. The first phase facility is expected to start operating within this year at the earliest. And here's what really bugged me. By early 2026, at the soonest, the computing power of the supercomputing facility is expected to reach 3,000 petaflops. Now, I'm going to come back on my frame on this one for a second. The reason why this is significant is we have talked about, obviously, the 2026 crazy KPI targets. But if you guys have been following just a little bit of what I talked about in regards to Filecoin, then you understand the bigger picture when it comes to petaflops. I've always mentioned, if Jasmy can simply get a slice of that pie, how much and how great that would be for Jasmy. So it gets a little bit into this, and it talks about scale such power and the equivalency of all of this, the greater picture of things. It says, basically speaking, that the capacity of processing nearly 10 billion images in 1 hour. Now, later on, when we get into this outline, you're going to hear specifically about CMOS image sensors and connected to semiconductors and so on, and why that's such a big deal. Look at this for a second. Here's a little bit more. We want to hear about big money. Here is some big money. Hong Kong will allocate $3 billion to Cyberport for the launch of a 3-year AI subsidy scheme to support local universities, research institutes, and enterprises to leverage the center's computing power and achieve scientific breakthroughs. The subsidy will also be used to do what? Strengthen the cybersecurity and data protection of the center and launch promotional and educational activities, etc., to encourage mainland and overseas AI experts. That's interesting. Enterprises and R&D projects to come to Hong Kong. Remember a long time ago when we had, right around this time last year, guys, we had some AI blockchain conferences in Hong Kong where Jasmy, Hara, and, as I would say, his homeboy, Mr. Akira, were there. Remember that? Well, they mentioned specific R&D projects and, also Hong Kong. Now look at this for a second. I know it's not highlighted, but I want to point this out. With increased demand for semiconductors worldwide, the scale of related industries is expected to grow continuously to exceed $1 trillion by 2030. When you go further down into this, it talks about this industry, the outcomes of comprehensive manufacturing industry chain in the Greater Bay Area. Another thing they mentioned is also what's going on in the mainland. I don't want to get into all that. I want to jump down to this section. We will launch a $10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme, which is called NIAS, this year, as in 2024. Enterprises engaging in life, health technology, AI, data science, advanced manufacturing, and new energy technology will be provided with funding support of up to $200 million on matching basis of one government to enterprise. Applicant enterprises shall invest no less than $200 million in Hong Kong. So that was interesting. As I got down to this other part, I was thinking, well, what about quantum technology and stuff? Well, he actually talked about that in the address. Look at this. He mentions Frontier Technology Research Infrastructure Support Scheme. He says, we will launch a Frontier Technology Research Infrastructure Support Scheme to assist the 8 university grant committees, UGC-funded universities, on matching basis in procuring facilities and conducting research projects which cover various fields such as AI, quantum information, integrated circuit, clinical medicine, and health, and even gene and biotechnology. I mean, say what you want, Jasmy is all over that like a fat kid on cake. To this end, we will allocate $3 billion from the sum earmarked in the past. So my thing is this, and I'll come back in the frame to discuss this for a second. If you've been following who this Akira guy is in the past, understanding that he is no nothing burger. He is Jasmy's plug. He is Jasmy's connect to what? Hong Kong. That's a big deal. How we point some of this out, especially with this recent address. Getting to the next part of this for a second, I want to show just a tad bit more because I think this is a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Come out of the frame for a second just so you can see it a little bit bigger. On this one, you will also see some notes in regards to what he talked about. So again, the subsidy strengthens cybersecurity and data protection, right? Getting further down, the government in the greater Bay Area, what it says, record filing data could be used for enterprises when applying marketing authorization. It gets down to this part about this mechanism. And again, guys, I'm going to connect to the actually Merida to this mechanism. Trust me, I'm going to get into it. This is why the shows have been delayed and not been every day. I wanted to go for some quality instead of just quantity for a change. Not to say that my other content's bad, but look at this, the 1+ mechanism. Important step in progressing towards a primary evaluation approach. This approach enables us to directly approve applications for registration of drugs, medical devices, locally based on clinical data. Now, why are we pointing that out? Didn't we see recently all of this big deal about medical data and how it's worth so much more compared to just some kid want to buy a $1 Fortnite skin? Yeah, there's that. What about a little bit more about new industrialization development? Because at the end of the day, we quoted so many things from the past. So this gentleman in the video said that driven by information, new industrialization leverages advanced technologies such as AI, data, analytics, new materials to support enterprises in moving towards smart production and development, and develop emerging industries with high value adding potential and economic efficiency. Wow. Look at this other part. They will launch, as in Hong Kong, 10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme, 2024 enterprises engaging in life, health, technology, AI, and data science. Funding support over, up to 200 million. I think I mentioned a couple of those things again, but that's all right. So there's a lot to be said in regards to that. This next part I want to take you to is really also quite something else. So I'm going to go ahead and take you to this particular page. Just got to backtrack to my starting point. So on this one, look at this. I know I'm out of the frame, but the point is what you're seeing here. KPMG. I just came back. Horace Park KM, he has a background in KPMG. Now, hear me out on this, okay? Before some people say this is a nothing, but it really isn't. So this is a report from a while back, but you do see the bigger picture from the past to where we're at in the present, connecting opportunities in the greater Bay Area. Again, back to the whole thing of this particular gentleman's speech, perspectives from Hong Kong's international business community. And I'm just going to take you to some of the key parts. So I'll come back out and look at this. You're going to see here this part. The views on the Hong Kong business leaders interviewed for this report reflect a wide variety of recommendations across a range of industries, services, including financial services, tax, technology, and innovation, data management, construction, and infrastructure. So we go further down. Look at this about data management. Building on Hong Kong's existing position as a regional telecommunications and data hub, integrating and enabling data flow within the GBA. Literally what that guy just mentioned in his speech. Getting further down into this, I love this part. Increasing technological capabilities or risk being marginalized. Collaborating on innovation with the GBA offers Hong Kong the opportunity to focus on areas in which they have competitive advantage. Look at this for a second. They understand drawing on the city's role as a major international financial center. The business community notes that Hong Kong should be encouraging its entrepreneurs and vibrant ecosystem to look beyond the immediate problems to solve for Hong Kong. Instead, the city should leverage its world-class educational institutions and global financial services expertise. I know you guys didn't see the video yet, but again, like I said, on the chopped up version, you will. This gentleman, who is, again, Mr. Paul Chan, specifically talks about those things in his address. So again, this is from 2017 for KPMG's report, and now it's all coming into fruition. Look at this other part. Together with leading AI, data science, and technical expertise in Shenzhen, create powerful force on innovation globally. Right. Reaching out to the ones that are ready, allowing them to get what they need done. Talks more about this leveraging of data-driven capabilities, notably AI and robotics. Say what you want. Jasmy, what they're doing with WITS is already their plug, their connect to this. Getting to this also, talks about, for instance, data management and connectivity. They talk about specifically about their future plans for the region, allowing global scandals involving the use of personal data. There is a growing awareness among governments and corporations about the need for stringent data privacy standards. Say what you want, Jasmy is all over that. So this is the second time, is what I'm pointing out, the second time that we've seen an action and a reaction. And why is that so important? The reason why it's so important is because you recently saw, when it came to Japan passing a bill that became an act, and that action created a reaction. Immediately, Jasmy soared, right? We went from 0.005 and we went over a cent. That was a milestone for Jasmy. Recently, other people have asked, why is Jasmy pumping again? Again, when you do the deep dive research, action was what? The news out of Hong Kong. And we're going to also get into the news in regards to Taiwan and semiconductors. Action, reaction. It's not the fluff that you've been seeing out there. I'm telling you flat out, if you take the time to get into this, you will see why this is so significant. I'm going to show you just a tad bit more in regards to this, especially if Jasmy is your thing. I think you should pay attention to this. I think it's huge. Okay, let's get back into this. Full screen it. So, in May, at least I should say May, like last year, but May back in 2017, the European Union passed this thing called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. It says that it was, at the time, a new data protection law that affects how companies in 28 member states collect, store, and process information about residents in the European Union. What do we know that's expanded upon this? It's DFFT. Okay, so got to point that out as well. I'll go further down on this because I need to get into it. They have this thing about implementing standards to manage data protection. Say it what you want. I know this is not about quant, but Gilbert Verdian already did that for Japan. He went there last March, and we now have standards, ISO TC 307 standard for Japan and working groups for Japan. So that's a big deal, and it always will be. Look at this for a second. Hong Kong, as we know, plays an important role as a global transaction and data hub. Remember what you heard from Mr. Shan? He says that they want to lead the charge in regards to data, but also recognizing the enablers in the region that are going to help them get it done. Look what it also says here. Go further down for a second. Mentions this system. Clearly defined industry standards are fundamental for data protection. Corporations are naturally drawn to commercial opportunities of data use. Yeah, obviously. You know, hence the Googles and so on. The GAFAs. But getting a little bit more into this before we kick it to the next part. Systems defining how data will be managed and protected need to build confidence and offer clarity around how information is used and how companies will protect an individual's interests. Who is currently doing that? It's Jasmy from beginning to end, hence why they're the first to be regulatory compliant. This guy, Brian, argues that a different starting point, beginning with data protection, ought to be the focus. So Jasmy's focus already meets that criteria rather than monetization, right? Monetization is just a bonus. Monetization is an option for those who we have given power back that say, I don't want to freely throw away my data. I want to have the option that I get to choose it and I don't just give it away for free. Jasmy is that option. Look at this for a second. Let's pull this down just for a tad bit, this part right here. He states, from a fiduciary obligation perspective, it's about making sure that we have done everything to the best extent possible to know about the data we are using and be able to clearly show how that data is being protected. Jasmy does exactly that quote. Let me pull down just a little bit more. Look at this. Talks about data architecture. Again, this is from, KPMG. We wouldn't want Mr. You know who to give me a bunch of criticism about it. Never mind. Anyway, build data architecture into the GBA DNA. Look at this. You have this whole thing about businesses and consumers will need to know what information is captured, where it resides, who has access, and how the access is protected. The earlier design phase, these questions can be addressed in the context of what, guys? Smart city infrastructure. Interesting. Isn't Jasmy also part of the bigger picture of Society 5.0? Yeah, they absolutely are. All right, let's bring you to the next part. All right, so I'm going to take you to here, and basically, it's just a tad bit more of this. So remember for a second, I'm going to just completely shut this off. So remember a while back, obviously Transcosmos was like the first major partnership of Jasmy, and that was such a big deal. Um, I should say the very very first, but the real big huge first one that, in my opinion, as far as like, do we see an example utility in motion, and if so, who's it with? Is Transcosmos. Recently, we also seen this other one. What's it called? Renko Shishi. In regards to workflows, I want to give you guys a blast from the past of why this all matters, and especially when it comes to Transcosmos, Japan, and Hong Kong. If you're brand new to all this, again, please smash the like. Here's why I want to reference the past to have you guys have an idea about the future. So this is also good. This is from the About page of Transcosmos. Take a look into this for a second. Global Digital Transformation Partner. Talks about, for instance, Transcosmos China is wholly owned subsidiary of Transcosmos. They've been around for many, many years. I mean, a really, really long time. Since 1995, Transcosmos has entered the Chinese market, provided offshore services. Okay. Some people are asking me, do they have a presence in Hong Kong? Yes, they have a presence in Hong Kong. Look at this. They even have a location in Hong Kong. Look at that. What about, like, Taiwan? Well, yeah, Taipei, Taiwan. And obviously, big up in Japan. Okay. How so? Well, look, before we get into this, here it is. Over 3 billion annual revenues, 70,000 plus employees across 28 countries at 172 campuses. They help service over 3,000 clients. Headquartered in Tokyo, they are a global BPO partner with global expertise, and that is Transcosmos. So when the personal data lockers are fully being, provided, because we're able to finally scale up with what we're trying to do with optimism, and then when we have data storage solutions with this Web3 cloud solution with Polkadot on their layer 0, technically, then that's going to be a huge deal, right? But some people have notated that they don't quite understand the bigger picture of Transcosmos. Well, I thought I would play. Never mind, the sound won't work. So you won't be able to see it. I was going to play this, and it would have been a nice little thing, but unfortunately, you guys can't hear the sound. So on the chopped up version, you'll get it. And I promise next time around on a live show, you will hear video sound. Take you to this for a second. Let's get into this. A little bit more about Transcosmos. They have a market cap of 966.2 million. No, it's not a coin. It's just a company. Okay. Take a pause here for a second. I want to jump into this part. TSMC. This was the other big news that dropped recently. So now we're no longer talking about specifically Hong Kong. We are now talking about this whole thing in regards to like Taiwan. The reason why I want to point this out and why I think it's a big deal is because this TSMC begins operations. Semiconductor revitalization begins in Kumamoto with 9 trillion yen investment. This is posted on February 24th, just a few days ago. Talks about on the 24th, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing which is TSMC, the world's largest semiconductor contract manufacturing company, began operations as its first production base in Japan. That's a big deal, you know? It says the Kumamoto factory, which is in I'm not pronouncing it right. Town, Kumamoto Prefecture, is scheduled to ship by the end of 2024. It says in his speech at the opening ceremony, founder Morris Zhang said, quote, "We will make the semiconductor supply network in Japan and the world even stronger." Now, I understand if you're just tuning in, you're like, this doesn't say anything about Jasmy. Doesn't say anything at all. That's not the point. The point is Jasmy's connections in regards to IoT and some exclusive patents, right? And we get more into this, will make more sense to you here in a bit. It says the Japanese government has drawn up a strategy to strengthen the domestic semiconductor manufacturing base and attract just that TSMC as a highlight. Well, I decided to get more into this, and I got over to this. This is from csys.org, and here it is. This is also recent too. Japan seeks to revitalize the semiconductor industry. So again, understanding that it's just not like, oh, it's just Taiwan and it's only Taiwan doing some big things. Connecting with Taiwan, connecting with Hong Kong, and having a common understanding of the bigger picture that's going to benefit the local economies and also the common goal of Society 5.0. Getting into this one, you will also see this. Japan is adopting major new industrial policies with the objective of restoring the international competitiveness of semiconductor industry. At the end of the 1980s, the industry accounted for over 50% of the world production, a figure that had fallen 9% by 2022. But listen to this. Today, the Japanese industry lags behind the global technological leaders by an estimated 10 years. That, of course, was reported August 25th of 2023. But how do they take it to the next level? Again, it's their plugs, their connects, whether it's Hong Kong or Taiwan. It says, for instance, they reflect on policymakers' sense of urgency, concern. Japan put aside practices that characterize its industrial policy throughout much of the post-war era, including limits on foreign investment and aversion to allow major foreign-owned manufacturing facilities to operate in Japan. When we get more into this outline, you'll see where we make the Jasmy connection. And if anything, that is going to be huge. So you also see this whole thing back in, 2022 and even 2023 about a bilateral Japan-U.S. commercial industrial partnership and how they agreed on, quote, basic principles on semiconductor cooperation, outlined a vision for collaborating on objectives, strategy for establishing a more resilient semiconductor supply chain. Then at the U.S.-Japan summit held back in May 23 of that same year, a joint task force for developing next-generation semiconductors, how it was launched, and how they implemented basic principles. There was a meeting that happened back in July 2022 between the Japanese and the United States, and how the two countries agreed to pursue joint research and development, back to the whole thing R&D, and key technologies. So this is going to, in my opinion, connect you to some modern things. And what I mean by that is these reports. This is a new report, right? Not as in like today, but as of yesterday. Because as we know, today is Leap Day. This was reported yesterday from Nikkei Asia. And on this one, I'll come out of the frame to put some more emphasis on this. So what you see right here in regards to the Nikkei Asia says specifically that in Kumamoto, Japan, like we just talked about, you have this person, I can't pronounce it, Sei Yong-fen, materials scientist turned entrepreneur, opened her company's second Japan-based laboratory in southwestern prefecture of Kumamoto late last year. She's now deciding whether to build a third. Interesting. Does it ever mention anything about Sony? Yes, it mentions something about Sony. So it says, as founder and CEO, Sinshu, Taiwan-based materials analysis technology, better known as the industry as MATech, Psy, if I pronounce that right, is simply following her main clients, global tech chip giants like Taiwan Semiconductor Co., TSMC, and even Sony, by expanding in Japan. MATech's main network is testing cutting-edge semiconductor materials and certifying new products. Again, guys, this is brand new. Look what it says. We believe Japan's resurgence in chip production could be faster than anticipated. Japan boasts a strong foundation in chip making, with top-tier materials, equipment, and largely intact supply chain network meticulously built over years. What about some of these top-tier materials? What about some of the equipment? What does WITS do? Think about that for a second. Look at this part. Maytech, which listed in Taipei, Taiwan, earned 8% of its revenue from Japan last year. It aims to increase that to 20% by year end. On top of it, arrival of companies like Maytech, or MATech, I might be pronouncing it wrong, a change in the fortunes of Japan's domestic chip sector. Once boasting, listen to this, guys, the world's #1 semiconductor industry, Japanese chip makers have steadily lost ground to South Korean, Taiwanese, and even U.S. rivals that surged ahead in the 90s and early 2000s. After multiple failed attempts to restructure the industry, Tokyo had all but given up on the sector. And this is going to get good. Look at this for a second. Gives you a little history lesson. I don't want to get necessarily into that for a second. But as of 2023, none of the top chip makers by revenue were Japanese. So that was a problem for the Japanese. Look at this for a second. Japanese political leadership is now determined to turn things around by attracting the very foreign companies that previously surpassed its domestic makers. Who's the one who originally got this going on? Say what you want. It was Shinzo Abe. His vision back in 2015. Goes on to mention some of these other things, the investments, but I want to get down to this part. Under Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's direction, the government has earmarked almost 2 trillion yen, which is 13 billion, as a supplementary budget for the chip industry. In this fiscal year, up 1.3 trillion yen the previous year, it was Japan's biggest government budget for semiconductors ever. The Japanese semiconductor industry is going through the major turnaround, and it's reemerging on the global stage. I want to go down to this part as well. Look at this. Tokyo's new commitment to support not only Japanese companies, but foreign ones as well, shows determination to regain the country's former leading role as a semiconductor powerhouse. A company like TSMC can manufacture things like Japanese companies cannot, such as advanced chips for what? AI, artificial intelligence, and autonomous driving technology. Again, think about the bigger picture of what Jasmy's trying to do. And Jun Okamoto is a partner at management consultancy KPMG Japan. There are merits to the economic security of Japan to have them in the country. All right. Show some of this recent major chip investments, all this stuff, these plants. And specifically, I want to show you guys this. Look what's mentioned here. Sony Group, 2021 sector sensors investment undisclosed. That's interesting. Now, take it to a little bit more. And I know that this is not your traditional show where I'm into the comments all the time. I apologize. We will get back to traditional format soon. There's been a lot of news in regards to Jasmy, and I think this is a big deal, and I think you guys, for the most part, appreciate it. So let's take you to this. I want to show why this is big. Here's another recent report. Okay, so this is from brownbeat.medium. Thank you to this gentleman by the name of Richard Brown. TSMC opens first fabrication plant in Kumamoto Prefecture, Japan. Now, I want to disclaim something real quick. Just real quick. There's probably some Jasmy researchers here. Thank you for being here, by the way. And if anything, you probably had to like, oh God, Max, why are you doing this? This is speculative. I get that. I'm way ahead of that. I'm going to show you some things that I recently discovered in regards to the patents from Tadashi Morita. And again, I'm not trying to create any hype. just presenting information. Anybody could take it as they want, but this was the last dot that needed to be connected. And then you guys will see that here in a bit. So let's just talk about this for a brief moment. And I'm going to come back out of the frame for you can see it a little better. So goes on to mention this whole thing about this prefecture. All right. Let's just blow this up even that much more. You see these people here and it says Jasm. No, not people say not Jasmy. Not Jasmy, but some people have also stated it could be. There's been no confirmation. Just hear me out. TSMC, the world's leading contract chip maker, officially opened its first fabrication plant in Japan. When? A few days ago, February 24th. The inauguration signifies critical milestone in TSMC's strategy to diversify its manufacturing base beyond Taiwan and cater to the rising global demand for semiconductors. The company is also building other manufacturing facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, which is where I'm at. And if they do that, I think it'd be neat to actually visit that facility personally. And it says Dresden, Germany. The ceremony at the Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing Inc. from Jasm, again, not Jasmy, but you're going to see why I think that there's something big here. Fab in Kumamoto Prefecture was attended by TSMC's top executives, high-profile figures from Japanese government, industry, partners, academia, high-level participation, right? Getting more into it. Look at this. Giant first step for Japan, bolstering capabilities of Japan's semiconductor industry, part of the country's broader ambition to revitalize its once dominant chip production industry and reduce its dependency on imported chips. Look at this. Jasm is poised to begin operations this year. TSMC and minority investors Sony Semiconductor Solutions. Denso, Toyota. Again, Toyota is connected to WITS, whatever you want to call it. Recently revealed plans for a second fab at the Jasm site. Construction of the plant is set to begin at the end of 2024, expected to go into operation in late 2027. Overall investment in Jasm will exceed $20 billion. When the two fabs are in operation, the site is expected to reach a total production capacity of over 100,000 12-inch wafers per month. Jasm Kumamoto site will focus on manufacturing advanced chips for automotive, industrial, consumer, high-performance computing applications. As part of its stringent sustainable practices, the site will use 100%, yes, 100% renewable energy when it starts operation, replenish more than 100% of its groundwater in use as built, and build a local supply chain. Back to the report from Hong Kong, from Mr. Chan. Now, to the reference in regards to what some of the people from who are like myself, who are researchers, are going to say, how dare you, right? And I'll be with you. Let's reference this. Shout out to our brothers in the Reddit community. I've always mentioned when it comes to research, there's CryptoX, that's part of your utility tool belt, and then there's also Reddit. And there's some other sources too, like Discord. Inky Fang, shout out to him. If you're watching this at some point, shout out to you for providing this. He says, to anyone who says that this is just a coincidence, really, let me get this straight. Number one, the CFO and longtime spokesperson for a Japanese company called Jasmy reposts, and this is true, anybody could verify this, reposts something about a specific semiconductor company. You know who he's referring to there? He's referring to Hara. Go to his X account. You will see it posted. I wanted to post it for you guys. It's like I wasn't able to get it, but it's there. And maybe somebody from our community can repost it and connect it and tag it to this particular video when it's out. But look what it says. Specific semiconductor company called Jasm opening up a plant in Japan. And look at this. Jasmy's tech could have a direct pertinence to Jasm. And Jasmy community researchers have been speculating about this exact connection for years. I'm one of them. Okay. And Hara, right. I'm glad you mentioned this right here. Repost this thing from one of our big community researchers. And how long ago did he do it? He did it recently. Why in the world would Hara drop us some crumbs like that? It says, are you confident in this coincidence? If so, I call that nopium. It's like opium, but the opposite. Instead of delusional optimism, it's delusional pessimism. Like, no, we don't know anything for sure, but in my opinion, this is as close as Hara often gets to explicitly, publicly confirming business alliances. If he's wrong, and he could be, right? He's human. is foolhardy to so confidently like to dismiss this post outright. Right. Exactly. I think so too. And then he says, I guess maybe Little Bidman was the original person to post that. Shout out to Little Bidman. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Thank you for unblocking me. Right. I want to now take you to this. This is the recent report. Also, check this out. I know I'm not in a frame. The emphasis should not be on me. It's the material. You guys could get more of my mug tomorrow or the next day. You could get 2 mugs in one from me and Rob. Look at this. Let's pull this up as well. Here is the recent thing. This was originally posted by the one and only Mr. Dip Metaverse. I'm going to go down to this particular thing I want to get into. So it talks about some of this other stuff about Sapporo, and maybe get into that later on. But I want to talk about this. It talks about this whole thing about this direct relationship. As it says, for instance, what is Jasmy's relationship with Marubeni? Other trading houses in Japan, for example, Mitsubishi Corporation, Mitsui & Co., Sumitomo, and Otocho Corporation. Says, so far we have no direct relationship with a major trading company. This is, I guess, from Hara. I have heard that Itochu Techno Solutions is very close to us as the physical distance between offices because of our relationship during the Sony days. And it says, for instance, that not saying Marubeni is partnered with Jasmy, but there's reasonable amount of connections. It is good to know that the team is in connection to Otucho. It says, do you have any updates on Jasmy's work with Borks? This is why I'm referencing this, if you're wondering where we're going with this. Sorry about that. It says, is there any updates about Jasmy's works with Borks, eGame, or Transcosmos? Remember how we just mentioned Transcosmos? Look at this for a second. It says, Borks, the network is related to Masanobu Yoshida. Remember, Yoshida did retire from Jasmy. There is no relationship now other than licensing, but Jasmy Labs is consulting as their business partner. We may have to be able to collaborate the next open source chain, which is the layer 2 that we're developing. Look at this. Transcosmos, they have the feeling that the rate of growth towards innovation has slowed down a bit since the president took over, but still have a remote call center using what? Secure PC. Again, the utility in motion, and a chat service with no personal information using line that are commercially available. So this part, Dip's comments, Borks might be dead, but it's okay. But it says eGame seems to be a little bit more active as of late. They need to get that Transcosmos relationship to be stronger, and I couldn't agree more. That was one of Jasmy's first partners, and the white paper did say that many data loggers early on would come from the context solutions, and I agree with that too. Look at this. That doesn't mean even close to 107 million will come for Transcosmos, just the ones from the earlier stages will, but it doesn't hurt anything. How about this for a second? I know it's a lot of material to get into. So I'm going to jump into this for a second, and I want to talk specifically about this. So basically it's this. You guys saw what was in the thumbnail in regards to semiconductors. It's specifically semiconductors connected to a thing called CMOS image sensors. All right. Let's take you over to this. All right. What you're going to see here is, like it says, what is a CMOS image sensor? If I was watching, I'd be wondering what that is. So it says a semiconductor device that serves as an electronic eye. Gives you a little demo right here. Image sensor, how it all works, right? On the right side, it says a working principle of a CMOS complementary metal oxide semiconductor image sensor was conceived in the latter half of the 1960s. But the device was not commercialized until microfabrication technologies became advanced enough in the 90s. Image sensors built into today's digital cameras and mobile phones mostly use either CCD, charge coupled device, or CMOS technology. Both CCD and CMOS are semiconductor devices that serve as electronic eyes. While they both use photodiodes or diodes, they differ in terms of manufacturing process and signal readout method. Although the CCD technology was dominant first due to superior sensitivity and picture quality, various improvements in CMOS sensors led to them to surpass the CCD sensors from 2004 onwards in shipment volume. What's so significant about this other than the technical nerd talk? It's faster in data rate than CCD. So if we're going to get to the whole point of modern technology and society 5.0, you have to have something that's going to have a faster data rate. It's also cheaper, energy efficient, and not on-chip integratable. CMOS sensors employ a smaller digital security that uses less power and are principle-free smear, vertical white streak, blah, 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 right? But here's the key thing that you should understand. Tadashi Morita made some patents that incorporate DC microgrid technology and incorporate some of this technology, and he has exclusive patents. And who is he? He's part of Jasmy, and he makes exclusive patents for Sony back in the day and so on. So I want to take you to this, and this is, in my opinion, it's a big deal. So look what it says here. This is from IEEE, and IEEE constantly references, or I should say, constantly has information, a lot of information about Mr. Tadashi Morita. So we're going to open up this as well. And look what's mentioned here. High-speed, multi-level binary imaging CMOS image sensor, for object feature extraction. Now, why would I point this out to you? Because when I dig more into this whole thing with Tadashi Morita, I saw some things that added up. I saw some connections. Look at this for this abstract for a second. Okay, this was published originally in 2018. To overcome the limitations of the threshold method, binary imaging, to realize multi-level binary imaging in real time, the study presents a dual imaging CMOS image sensor that extracts a normal image and its binary image, effectively utilizing the column reset period of existing readout structure proposed. Extracts real-time multi-level binary images, thus allowing the binary imaging capability to extract perceptible features of target objects. Again, think about it, people walking down the street and so on, right? Collecting all that data, right? And I didn't want to get into all the nerd talk about it, but the point was to introduce this to you, okay? And again, IEEE has a ton of information. When I take you to this next part, this is crucial. I just went ahead and went right down to the key area. This is from English.Kyoto News, okay? This is an interview with, who is it? Kasamasa Sato, I believe. It says, with various options under consideration, Sato says his ultimate goal is to combine its technology with artificial intelligence. While interest in generative AI such as ChatGPT is booming, he said there is always a risk if one enters sensitive information. It can be absorbed into the system that leads into unintended data leak. The combination of Jasmy's data security technology and AI could create a kind of AI optimized for personal use while not worrying about data security. Such an AI could be installed into various devices such as cars, smart speakers, and other things. Look at this quote. If people felt threatened by exposing their personal data, they become reluctant to utilize data. But if we are able to manage our data on our own, we will surely make the world more fun and convenient. Sato compared his company service to real-time decisions such as how much personal information you wish to disclose when meeting new people if you offer your name card greeting someone in a business setting. So here's another thing. If you go to the Jasmy website and you look up Morita, it says basically this. Since 2013, from 2007 to 2013, he did a lot of things. But look at this. In 1971, he joined Sony Corporation. He contributed as an engineer. He developed several technologies. He's applied about 100 patents while working for Sony and then some. He created the invention of NFC technology, his standardization. Remember back to that guy's video, one of his accomplishments. For 2007-2013, he was appointed as Chief Distinguished Engineer and was instructed to investigate security trends, made recommendations to Sony's top management every single year. Look at this part. Worked at Okinawa Institute of Science. He invented DC microgrid tech. Look at this. He created a trial of world first DC microgrid system. He participated in 2008 JST Crest Dios project. Since 2020, he's been appointed as project researcher at Kanagawa University. Again, back to Mr. Chan's reference in regards to funding these universities, not just in Hong Kong, but abroad. He said that. And promoting research that contributes to decimation of standards. Again, you guys didn't see the whole thing, but in that interview, or what do you want to call it, that address, Mr. Chan talks about some of these standards. And in 2020, of course, joined Jasmy as a senior strategist. One more time. This is from the chopped up white paper. Marita Felica, project leader from Sony's Computer Science Laboratories, responsible for development of Smart Guardian service. Felica is a contactless chip encryption. Remember, we were referencing all these things about semiconductors and chips. So look, Felica is a contactless chip encryption technology. And we're talking about CMOS image sensors, and somehow those are wireless and contactless. Look at this for a second. Widely applied in Japan with reliable security, this technology ensured no occurrence of an information security incident in the past 20 years since birth. Goes on to also mention Mr. Morita, as the Felica project leader, also brought his experience in the field of encryption technology to Jasmy. Yes, Jasmy. Therefore, greatly ensuring safety of hardware devices in the Jasmy platform. And this little tidbit, he worked with Sony for years, many years, taking charge of technical invention, commodity development, BTR disk, IC card, like for instance, Suica, I think is what's called, mobile wallet chip, NFC. Afterwards, he was transferred to Sony Computer Science Laboratories to serve as head of Felica Enterprise Plane Development Department. He also has taken a position as director of Standard Application Department of DEOS Association. So when you saw Mr. Chan, I'll come back into the frame for a second. When you saw Mr. Chan specifically talk about what? Standards. Do you have somebody that's part of the technical standard? The answer is yes. Who is it? It's Tadashi Morita. Let's take it to this next part. Just for a second. Remember how I talked about Jasmy in the broader picture? So in the white paper, it talks specifically about tourism. Look at this for a second. You have Nippon Travel Agency. They are a partner of Jasmy. Look at this for a second. Why is this big? Nippon Travel Agency is handling tours in Japan for 200,000 travelers every year. They arrange hotels, tours, tickets, transfers, guys, etc., etc. What happens when those BitPoint ATMs with an actual option on the touchscreen for a personal data locker is activated? We talk about the flip of the switch with XRP and all this other stuff. What about Japan's flip of the switch when it comes to, hey, you got to be in compliance. You have to have a personal data locker. If you don't think that's going to be huge, it absolutely is going to be massive. I want to share this as well with you. This is some patents from Mr. Tadashi Morita, a whole bunch. And I went into all these for the last few days. You're wondering, why is there no show? Because I decided to go through all of these freaking patents. I got tired of just like not making the connection. I was like, I got to find something. I was telling Mr. Minalagwar, I'm like, there is something here. There's really something here. And I don't want to just make some fluff. I want to find something here. And so I did that. And I kept delaying the show because I was like, I'm so excited about this. And we're seeing Jasmy as there's an action, there's a reaction. So check this out for a second. I know it sounds like I'm hyped up, but I am excited about this. And I know a lot of you guys are excited to see your investments do well and so on. What's going on with the broader picture of things? So check this out for a second. Let's take you to this next part. All my research, ironically from ResearchGate. Look at this. Let's go full screen. You have the one and only Tadashi Morita. Yes, it's him. That is him. There's no denying that is him. Sony Computer Science Laboratories. Look what it says here. Information processing system. What does it say also here? It's a patent. Information processing system, information processor, information processing method, and program. Submitted back in 2015. This is abstract information processing system includes first information processor to process data displayed in a first display unit, second information processor. I mean, it's a bunch of nerd talk, but look, talks about including a first display control unit to control the data to be displayed. Think about that. First communication unit to receive operation, information from the second information processor and transmit data, information about a piece of data indicated by the second information processor, and first detecting unit to detect a position on the first display unit indicated by the second information processor. Doesn't that kind of describe a digital eye? I think it does. Look at this for a second. The second information processor includes an accepting unit to accept an operation by a user. A second communication unit to transmit operation information to the first information processor, receive the data from the first processor, and receive data storage to store the data in information. Lots of data. Spells everything about what? Like kind of like a personal data locker, maybe? Say what you want. It's interesting. Look at this for a second. August 2013. Why is this significant? Information processing apparatus. And again, back a little bit to what we mentioned a couple years before that. Talks about having an apparatus that will register a holding value. First communication path. All this nerd talk once again, right? And it's how it's all registered. There's more about this. Talks about those IC cards. Remember we talked about Suica, right? System device method for wireless communication. I shouldn't have dropped it down so far. So wireless communication apparatus and method for processing information from a contactless IC card. Interesting. Why is that so big? Maybe because we need a CMOS image sensor? Contactless? Communication system, uniquely identifying a communication partner with a predetermined coverage area and transmitting and receiving information in a predetermined protocol. Includes a device and information processing apparatus, etc., etc., etc. So a tad bit more about this. I pull this up from a PDF. Here's a patent, August 16th, 2014, 10 years ago, almost, not quite. Tadashi Morita, assignee, Sony. Look at this. Information processing apparatus, execution method, computer program. Look at this about the abstract. We already named most of these things, but on the bottom part, it says it's a program executing unit executes authentication processing with authentication, key for executing the function, makes it possible to execute a function based on security attributes. And this is all written up. This is all like the nerd stuff. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in there, right? I can't get into all this, but this next part I also thought was pretty cool. Hold on. I think this is kind of pound it home for you. So it goes on to mention that, the coverage area, transmitting the unit, the information processing apparatus once again, and it's just kind of like written up pretty much the same way. It's just kind of an update. So I thought that was big. I wanted to share that with you guys. And on this part, you're going to see a little reference in regards to Suica. So you have here, Hara mentions Suica cards in his AMA, so let's see why it's significant. Suica are the most commonly used transportation passes, which users simply tap over the ticket gate to gain entry into train tracks, tap again into exit station, where the fare for journey is automatically calculated and debited. Again, when we talk about the pairings, let me come back on the screen for a second. When we talk about the pairings of Japanese yen denominated stable coins or the DD token benefiting the local economy, here's the perfect example of how this is done. It's done through Suica. Remember how we talk about Nippon travel? So Japan travel, Japan tourism, a guide. So Suica already doing that, right? What happens when we get to the part where Nippon Travel Agency, if you will, over 200,000 people annually? I know that might seem small, but again, what if it doesn't just end with Nippon? The enablers. So this is an example of swiping that. 80 million people currently on Suica. What happens when we get to the point of more people that need to use a personal data locker for data privacy and data protection? That's the point I'm trying to make. I wanted to show you guys this part. Again, on the chopped up version, I'll try to do it the right way, but the sound issues. I fast forward this part. You can look this up yourself. Go to Jesse's YouTube on August 11th, 2023. He does a full deep dive of the significance of Suica, Jasmy in the bigger picture. Even in this reference, you will see some of these key things I'm talking about. It says Sony, Honda, Afeela, electric vehicles will rely on Qualcomm super chips. And the connections of Qualcomm to Sony, Jasmy, obviously the Kunitake Ando, and Kazumasa Sato. And again, when I chop this up, I'll just have that included so you don't have to necessarily jump over there. But by all means, give Jesse your support. All right. Here's image sensors at a glance. Again, I won't be able to play that. That'll be in the chopped up version. Sorry about that. I want to play this part or share this part real quick with you guys. This is a little bit more about this and why it's a big deal. So you have introduction to CMOS image sensors. Listen to this for a second. So it says the arrival of high-resolution solid-state imaging devices, primarily charged coupled devices, which are CCDs, and complementary metal oxide semiconductor CMOS image sensors has heralded, I can't pronounce that right, I can't pronounce anything right now. I apologize. A new era for optical microscopy that threatens to eclipse traditional image recording. True. Such as film, video tubes, and even photo multipliers. Charge coupled device camera systems designed specifically for microscopy applications are often use numerous original equipment and aftermarket manufacturers, and CMOS image sensors are now becoming available for a few microscopes. All right, gives you the whole history behind this. The key thing I wanted to get into for you guys is down here. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Yes, here we go. This example. Where is it? Yes, this. For some of the researchers that are, from Jasmy community, this figure that you see here, I'm sure you see it with the green and all this, is literally part of like a reference to a sense of the patent. So there are two basic photosensitive pixel element architectures utilized in modern CMOS image sensors. Photodiodes, photogates. In general, photodiode designs are more sensible to visible light, especially in the short wavelength. Bottom line is this new technology being used for these sensors for smart cities. And when you get more into this, it talks about the image sensor operational sequence. And when I went more into it, I'll be honest, I was like, wow, Mr. Tadashi Morita references all of what is literally in this. And for anybody who wants to look this up, it's from olympus-lifescience.com. Now, here's some more examples in regards to image sensors, so on and so forth. Okay, let me show this for a second. But I decided to take you right over to what? To Sony. And here it is. This is reference from Sony-Simicon.com. Image sensor for consumer cameras. They have an overview of all this. But what I like is the features of this. Look at this for a second. High reproducibility to truthfully capture images as intended. It enhances the realism. I know this is the text, it ain't perfect, so I apologize. It enhances the realism of the images captured by the user to amplify profound effects, record scenes, to illuminate people if needed, right? Look at this for a second. Superb expression for professional visual productions. And it has a whole breakdown of how it all works. And of course, all the nerd stuff. Look at the applications it's used for. Consumer cameras. Look at this drone. Drones, obviously the Internet of Things, video production. So that's all worth pointing out. But this part, back to the topic, because some of you guys may be thinking, well, come on, man, let's get back to the topic. Got to reference some of that stuff. So Sony Semiconductor Solutions. Look at what it says here for a second. To release CMOS image sensor for automotive cameras. How long ago was this? This was not that long ago, last September. With industry-leading 17.42 effective megapixels, delivering sophisticated sensing and recognition performance and contributing to safe, secure, automated driving. Gives you all these examples. Gives you, for instance, this right here. Where is it real quick? The main features. Look at this. Long distance recognition delivered in industry-leading 7.42 megapixels. I mean, again, I'm talking about like there's the drones for, Society 5.0. There's these obviously CMOS image sensors. And when we talk about that, the reason why this is important, and maybe you're wondering, I don't understand all this, and it's okay. It's important to recognize the utility that's in motion here. Lots of data is going to be utilized. Where does that data go? Where is it protected? Who has exclusive patents for this data? That's the one of the main points I want you to have to take away from this. Okay? This part. When reading signals from pixels, CMOS image sensors generally do so in vertical direction, one at a time. This product, on the other hand, employs a readout method that outputs signals horizontally, one row at a time, making it easier to synchronize with mechanical scanning. LiDAR. LiDAR. That's funny. Talk about Napoleon Dynamite with his was it he had a Liger? Anyway, I gotta have some fun. Anyway, this also uses horizontal scanning method. Means that the information output from automotive cameras equipped with this product can be integrated with LiDAR information downstream on the system. Will improve the sensing recognition capabilities of the automated driving system as a whole. Who also has some of this stuff that ties into EV? It's Tadashi Morita, and you can verify some of that for yourself if you choose to nerd it out. What about standards? Because we talked about the whole thing in regards to what? Standards when it came to Mr. Chan from Hong Kong. Look at this for a second. I think this is a big deal, whether you're still following along or not. So when we talk about ISO standards and all sorts of other standards, there's a lot of standards, right? Messaging standards, ISO 222. But look at this for a second. Compliant with standards required for automotive applications, the product is qualified for AEC Q100 Grade 2 automotive electronic component reliability tests by mass production. Also, the Triple S has introduced a development process compliant with the what? The ISO, another ISO standard. Interesting. Which is ISO 26262 Road Vehicle Functional Safety Standard. At automotive safety integrity level, ASIL BD contributes to improve automated camera system reliability. Worth pointing out. All right. I'm going to take you to this. This is another thing that I feel as though is huge. This is another recent report. Check this out for a second. Let's take you right to it. Shout out to Brian, Dip Metaverse, all these guys. Okay. So on this recent post, it says, this is the 11th and final question. Dip Metaverse and I, as in Brian, asked Hara a little over a month ago. We would have shared sooner, but my wife had a baby, as in Brian. Congratulations to Brian, by the way. And then there was a Telegram AMA. Questions 1 through 10 nested into the quote tweet below over 3 posts. Here it is. Question 11. What purpose does Jasmy proprietary IoT printed circuit board module serve within the overall technology stack? You're going to see how we just tied in everything from the beginning of this outline to where we are right now in the present. It says if they are integral to the platform operating, then it is the speed that they are distributed to the market a potential limiting factor for the platform to scale. Answer from Hara. At this time, Jasmy platform is a mechanism for controlling devices. And then remember this part because I'm going to reference it here in a second. Controlling devices for IoT products, but it does not require chips or other modules at the time of specific product shipment. Does not require chips because what? They have patents that are tied in and work with what, guys? Think about it. What did we just talk about? We talked about CMOS image sensors and why that's a big, huge deal. All right. Getting more into this. We have a little bit more. Come full screen again. There's a plan to develop an authentication platform as a module. It has not reached the stage of concept because no company has been found that plans to develop a specific product. Of course, we are going to sell modules. It will depend on production capacity. But since we are aiming for a licensing platform, we believe that the product company will have the relevant production capacity. Wow. That is very, very interesting. Obviously, he references the whole thing with Borks. He talks about the whole thing of, um, NDAs and so on. I do like this part. It says, remember that there is the main business of Jasmy ran by Ondo and Sato, the AI times IoT times consortium blockchain business, and the Web3 side of the business ran by Hara, Jasmy Labs, Junction, and even the Jasmy coin. A lot of what the main business does in the near future to onboard companies, think about this, into the platform may not be seen or mentioned since Jasmy Co's Limited is a private company, has no obligation to disclose its licenses who may require privacy. Right. This is why we don't get a lot of that from the retail side and why it frustrates like our community. So again, back to this whole thing about Borks. And I want to talk about this for a second. So some of you guys have seen this, but it will make so much more sense here in a second because we talked about some of these boards and some of these, actual chipsets and so on. So let's pull this up as well, and you're going to see why I feel as though that this is such a big deal. Okay, so here it is in regards to 4G LTE. This is a blast from the past to give you an idea of why this is so important to pay attention to. So Jasmy Co. Limited starts providing samples of 4G LTE Android single board computer ideal for IoT devices. Remember how Hara just referenced that, they don't currently have it, but they're not going to dismiss it, and they are going to produce some of these products, like actual physical products. Well, here's a reference. Here's a blast from the past, all the way back to 2017 for crying out loud. So these are single boards, and they completed back-end certification of the core communication model, which is model name JCB 0001 under the Radio Law and Telecommunications Business Law. Now, what I want you guys to do, if you are paying attention to every little, thing of this video, which is cool. This radio law and radio period, and the guy that's connected to that. I'm just going to give you a little hint, obviously, Tadashi Morita has all these things about this, and I covered this in a deep dive in the past, right? And how it's Bluetooth compatible, but basically, Jasmy back then exhibited a 4G LTE Android single board computer equipped with a prototype of this module at CTEC held at Makuhari Messi in October of 2017. It received a lot of interest from many different visitors. In the future, like it says, they plan to widely provide this communication model and 4G LTE Android single board computers to companies in Japan that are considering the development and market introduction of IoT services. So do we have an update in regards to some of this? I think if you tie in everything about the semiconductors, the CMOS, image sensors, and so on, you kind of have an idea where we're going to go with this. And again, we're going to get more into this. This is about the communication model. It integrates this specifically, right? This board you see here, with wireless communication and CPU equipped with Android operating system, realized through a joint development course with Borks. All-in-one functionality necessary for building IoT systems can be expected to reduce size, shorten development periods, and even reduce costs. They give you all the specs. It's all there. Now, they didn't decide to go further with it, right? We're in a different era now with 5G. But check this out. If you were wondering if there's more to it than this, this should be one of the juicy parts for you. Because I decided, do we have examples of the past to reference what Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the bigger players are trying to do with Japan? And here it basically is. It's this right here. If you go to borks.com/smart devices/wearables, look what it says. They have, for instance, built-in heart rate sensors. And what is also another example that would use a CMOS image sensor? Well, it would be a built-in heart rate sensor. And for Borks, they already have in the past technology that was teamed up with Jasmy for these sensors or these particular boards, if you will. It lets you know that they had something way back then. What about now? That's why I want to share that with you. Look at this for a second. Let's pull this up. So from the IEEE, which is IEEexplore.IEEE.org, there's a document, and it says, and I'll come back out of the frame for a second to put more emphasis on this. It says there's a 2-tap NIR lock-in pixel CMOS image sensor with background light canceling capability for non-contact heart rate detection. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Why is that so? Because in this abstract, it talks about a time-resolved CMOS image sensor using 2-tap near-infrared NIR lock-in pixels background light canceling capability for non-contact heart rate detection is presented aimed to the application. The sensor performs temporal random noise, and it gives this outline of how it all works. Look what this says for example. Gives you an introduction of how this all works. And when I got more into it, I said to myself, this sounds very familiar. Wasn't there a guy from Jasmy that was part of this whole thing? And the answer basically is yes, there definitely was. How do we know that? Well, when you reference some of this stuff, it talks about control systems. So on the IEEE peer-to-peer DC microgrid PDF, okay? Look what it says, peer-to-peer control system for DC microgrids. That's interesting. Who's part of this list? Tadashi Morita. Is there an actual picture of him? There's an actual picture of him. Is it our Tadashi Morita, since that's a common name in Japan, apparently? Yes, it's our Tadashi Morita. How so? Well, I'm going to show you that. So it talks about this implementation of how all this works. If you're wanting to take the time to get into it, it's from sonycsl.co.jp. And all you have to do is look up this peer-to-peer control system for DC microgrids. You're going to see through here, if you took the time to do it, how it all comes together. It is all verifiable. It has a breakdown of how this all works. And I'm not going to, this will be a 10-hour show if I get into all this. But check it out. At the very bottom, it references Morita. And how so? Boom, there he is. That is, in fact, Tadashi Morita. And what does it say about him? It says specifically that he, in fact, was born in Tokuji, prefecture in Japan. I know that's not pronounced right. 1953. He was working with Sony as a chief distinguished engineer until 2013. He joined Sony Computer Sciences Laboratories in Tokyo to research an open energy system. Open energy systems. Think about that for a second. He has contributed to the concept, design of the software control mechanism, and is now working on developing the arc-free DC connectors and disconnectors. Why is that such a big deal? Well, here is why. When I went to here, this is another site, prdc.dependability.org. Why is this such a big deal? Well, if you go to the top of it, at the 16th IEEE Pacific Rim International Symposium on Dependable Computing, back in 2010, it was the National Institute of Informatics. It was held in Tokyo, Japan, December 13th through the 15th of 2010. And look what it mentions. It mentions for an hour, he was invited to talk at a conference room 3 and 4 with Chairman Tomohiro Yoneda, who's part of the National Institute of Informatics. I'm telling you flat out, this is the juicy part. Everybody wants the juicy part. This is the juicy part. Why is this the juicy part? Because what you're going to see here is that it's this dependable e-payment system in Japan. What? What the heck is that? Dependable e-payment system in Japan about dependability, accountability, and security. What? Tadashi Morita, Sony Corporation. And this was back in 2010. So these guys had this thing. You know, we talk about like before the days of the Bitcoin white paper, you know, like you know, dating back to like, you know, you see like Dr. Craig Wright or something like that, or just the talk of, you know, Bitcoin white paper many years ago. And it's just like 2009. Well, what about before 2009? I'm looking at this like Jasmy, personal data lockers, Society 5.0, way before 2015, 2016. The ideas behind what? The ideas behind this greater, bigger picture, a dependable e-payment system in Japan, dependability, accountability, and security. Am I going to end it there? No, I'm not. What in the world is the National Institute of Informatics? Check this out. So let's full screen this. This is from Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is just information, right? At the collegiate level, you're not supposed to cite Wikipedia, but it's a good, for the purposes of what we're doing, there's a lot of information here. So if you're wondering, is this place a big deal? Yes, the answer is this place is a big deal. The National Institute of Informatics is a Japanese research institute located in Chiyoda, Tokyo, Japan. It was established back in April 2000 for the purpose, and look at this, maybe this is the bombshell you're waiting for, of advancing the study of informatics. What the heck is informatics? I'd be wondering what the heck that is. I'm ahead of you. Informatics is the study of computational systems. According to the ACM Europe Council and Informatics Europe, informatics is synonymous with computer science, computing as a profession in which the central notion is the transformation of information. In some cases, the term informatics may be used with different meanings in the context of social computing or in context of library science. Okay, that sounds like it might be a big deal, right? Absolutely. Let's jump back to this for a second. This institute also works on creating systems to facilitate what? Works on creating systems to facilitate the spread of scientific information to the general public. It oversees and maintains a large searchable information database on a variety of scientific and non-scientific topics called WebCat. No, not Cool Cat Crypto, but WebCat. The N2, let's just call N2 because that's an abbreviation, is the only comprehensive research institute in informatics in Japan. Wow. It is a major part of the Graduate University for Advanced Studies in Sokendai, and since 2002 offered a PhD in program in informatics. There's a lot of history here. The institute focuses on scientific research regarding information gathered techniques, systems for information management in all scholarly disciplines, and attempts to balance theoretical and practical research approaches, aiming to create new techniques for searching and organizing extremely high volume databases. Oh my God. Using new opportunities presented by advancements in high-speed network capabilities. Oh my goodness. Conducts research partnership with numerous universities and other research institutions, both public and private. Wow. The institution's primary goal is enhancing the knowledge of informatics in Japan. Also works closely with international and exchange researchers, institutes, and advancement of multiple goals, including, and look at this, guys, the development of international standards for informatics, and to host various research exchange programs for visiting students, research interns, postdocs, visiting professors such as Japanese, JSP, and Germany DAAD programs. N2 organizes a popular international internship. Fund students around the world to come to Japan, conduct research, all sorts of stuff, right? But the key thing for you, again, is what? This right here. Their focus on scientific research regarding information gathering techniques and systems for information management. Why in the world would something like this want to do what, guys? And basically invite the likes of Tadashi Morita back in 2010. Now, back to the subject at hand. Back to maybe why you're here. Do you know what you have now? Do you know why you hold it? Do you know why the research trumps FUD 110%? I think you do. I think you really, really, really do. And with that also said, we are going to jump into why I wanted to point out so much of this. So if you go down to this, all right, I said if you're taking notes on this one, to pay attention to this, authority control databases, back to the whole thing of Tadashi Morita in his background. Because what did it also say? He is part of this whole thing of authority control databases and the patents and all of it. Don't you see how it all ties in? Why Max does these long outlines? Maybe some people don't like it. I don't know. But it's all there. You can verify all of it. And once again, look at this. Does the IEEE also highlight Tadashi Morita? Yes. Boom. There he is. Right there. And what's his affiliation? Sony Computer Science Laboratories. Huh. What's also in this? AC power, battery, state of charge, central entity, control logic, control structure, DC microgrid. My goodness, look at this grocery list of Tadashi Morita, who's part of Jasmy. In my opinion, he's the biggest deal of Jasmy. I know a lot of people talk about Ando and Kunitake Ando. I mean, I respect those guys, but this guy is the unsung hero of freaking Jasmy. So DC-DC converter, decentralized control. I like how it says decentralized control. Why would, guys, think about it. The National Institute of Informatics invite some guy that is part of decentralized control, probably because they realize where Japan needs to go. Energy exchange, you name it. And he gives the background on him once again. So, you know, it's crazy to see these particular things. And here's another one from his, you know, his patent. Look at this. Transmission reception device. Remember I said something about a radio? Remember that? I did mention that. Remember that? Let's go back to this for a second. I think I did mention this. Yeah. So we talk about this whole thing about a radio, okay? And why that was such a big deal. And I might not have that on the screen, but I shared it before in the notes. It's a big deal because what you see here, this device that includes radio frequency section that performs a frequency conversion on a signal, which is modulated using a single carrier transmission system, correlation, all these things, all these patents towards the greater, bigger picture of things. Again, Tadashi Morita. Here's another particular one. I already gone ahead and highlighted this for you. This particular patent, 428-2004. Look what it says. Method system integrated circuit for communication in RFID or remote sensor systems. Remote sensor systems. What would be a remote sensor system connected to what, guys? A CMOS image sensor. How about this? Oh, here's the example I want to give you to. What is RFID and how does it work? It's a form of wireless communication that incorporates the use of electromagnetic or electrostatic coupling in the radio. And here it is, RFID. It's all there. Again, back to Morita. Look at this for a second. Here's a look, guys. I'm not making this up. Look at this. Google patents, Tadashi Morita. And what does it say? Method system in, an integrated circuit for communication in RFID or remote sensor systems. So when we talk about these semiconductors, do you have something that will connect to a RFID remote sensor system? The answer is yes. And who is the inventor of this? Tadashi Morita? And you see this whole thing of JASM, and you see these little hints about Jasmy with the whole thing, and out of nowhere, Hara, I know I'm out of the frame, Hara is literally talking about this when for 2 years it was speculative and there was no mention, and people were like, we don't know, it might just be a coincidence. And out of nowhere, and you can look this up yourself on X, he all of a sudden just throws this little like Easter egg or whatever. I do think that's a big deal. I think that's more than a coincidence. I would agree with the other guy that from earlier. I think that's a huge deal. What the heck? I mean, that's just unbelievable. So, in conclusion, it's basically like this, okay? And I want to give you guys some notes real quick. The way I look at it is, and this is from Monologuer, so shout out to him, you have to keep in mind the greater, bigger picture of things. All right. This is why we do these deep dives. We'll be back to a normal lineup hopefully soon. Okay. But we've seen some big things happen with the market, especially for Jasmy. Monologuer mentions that back in 2022, Sony America officially formed a new company. Listen to this just for a quick moment. Sony Space Communications. What the heck? Listen to this. to better enable space optical communications for microsatellites. If you guys remember a while back, I did a collaboration with Menelagor talking about some of these low orbiting satellites, right? But SSC plans to develop small optical communications devices to connect microsatellites, like we said, in low orbit via the use of laser beams. By constructing an optical communications network, not only between satellites and the ground, but listen to this, also between satellites in orbit. Sony SC, which was called SSC, aims to enable real-time communication from anywhere, yes, anywhere, on the ground to the satellite in space. Now, back to the whole example of CMOS image sensor. Here's an example. The CMOS image sensors in Sony, which is called SOLIS, SOLISS project, potentially benefit Jasmy, right? And the many applications by positioning Jasmy as a, quote, data filtering system. And maybe we'll get more into this later. But the key thing is this filtering system for data security. Jasmy's focus on blockchain tech and data security could be enhanced by integrating, listen to this part, the CMOS image sensors. And these sensors in itself could provide a wealth of data that, when secured and authenticated, using Jasmy's patented technologies, like with all the references that we gave in regards to Tadashi Morita tonight, and also other times, could lead to new applications and services. But how so? Well, here's an example. IoT devices. Many IoT devices, as we know, use CMOS image sensors. Jasmy could very well potentially use these technologies to improve the security and functionality of these devices. But where I would like to add to Menelagor's research is, well, what if you have a guy who already made some of the patents that connect to that? Isn't that the whole point of owning the exclusive patents? I think so. I think that's going to be huge, but does create more new possibilities for IoT applications. And this part real quick, back to the whole thing of SOLIS. Data transmission. You know, we talk about the whole thing of utility in motion. The SOLIS project has demonstrated the ability to transmit high definition HD image data via Ethernet at a speed of 100 megabytes per second. Okay, which, I mean, you know, it sounds fast, but in reality, there's a lot of things other, you know, way faster. But it would potentially be used by Jasmy to move large amounts of data quickly and securely. Back to, if you remember, towards the beginning of the outline, we talk about the petaflops. Remember how big that was? Yes, it's crucial for many blockchain and IoT applications, future collaborations, and so on. But Sony in itself, the research and development in these areas could open up opportunities for future collaborations for Jasmy, Sony, and others to use their tech to come together, right? We saw perfect examples of this because at the beginning of the outline, you saw what's going on in regards to Hong Kong. And we gave you those other examples in regards to even Taiwan. We're going to look more into this whole thing of Sony Mima Mori. There's this company called UN Ops. They're already using, listen to this, guys, advanced CMOS image sensory for GIS, which is Geographic Information Systems. And so at the end of the day, I think it's crazy. But the icing on the cake for me, and your key takeaway, is where you saw the whole thing about peer-to-peer control system for DC microgrids, and those constant references to Tadashi Morita and how he is cited as a decentralized control, recognizing that it's not taking control of all this, it's decentralizing it all, right? Hence why Jasmy is a disruptor of GAFA. So that is going to conclude it for tonight. I know that was quite the deep dive to get into, but pay attention to what's going on with microgrid technology. Pay attention to what's going on with semiconductors. And if anything, we'll try to find out some more information in regards to JASM, but I do think that's a big deal. You know, it might be just be like NDAs and you can't get into it more, but come on, 2 years, nothing. And out of nowhere, Hara all of a sudden drops us these crumbs in regards to JASM. And then all of a sudden, Jasmy goes up like crazy. You think that's really coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence. Let me know what you think in the comments on both the live, the recording, and so on. And if anything, let's finally get back into the comments. Thank you so much for you guys for being here. Let's double check how we're doing the likes real quick. We are currently at 155 likes. Wow. Thank you so much. I think there's some super chats I got to get into. So I do appreciate that. And let's read this from Selma Fudd. Those deep dives, open eyes. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother Selma Fudd. $2 super chat, 857. You only had to wait roughly, I don't know, 14 minutes. That's not too long. Do appreciate it. All right, let's read this from Francis Esguera. My Sony Xperia 1V has stacked CMOS image sensors. Recent upgrade. Oh, very, very cool. I do think so. Yes. I mean, some people have pointed out the whole thing with Transcosmos, but the recent update in regards to, what's it called? Kenro Shishi, which is using data flows. That's a big deal too. So even if Transcosmos doesn't end up being as big as everybody was hoping to be, there will definitely open up other particular opportunities and so on. We know that. All right. Just kind of going up the other direction. I apologize. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Because there's a lot of comments. All right. Hype is good. Yeah, but not necessarily my style, but I hear you. Elon Musk, Mike Cornwell, thank you for being here. He says 0.002 is 850x away from $17, aka 85,000%. My God. All right. Let's see here. You guys got a lot of good info. I'm gonna lean with no on that one. That would be too soon. Okay. Let's see here. Brian Dowie's in the house. Glad to have you here, man. Here he is. Boom. All right. And what else we got? Take a long line. Who the man? You the man, Max. Well, thank you. Take a long line. Thank you for recognizing that, Brian Dowie. Let's see here. Manny Vergara, many thanks, Maximus. God bless you. Very great information. Okay, hold on a second. All right, let's read this. This is interesting from X. Jasmy gives me Ada vibes from 2020, maybe nothing. If we can get any piece of the AI narrative, just imagine. Yeah, exactly. All right. What else we got up in here? What up, Selma Fudd? Glad to have you. Crypto K-Dub. Welcome, welcome. That's funny. That's crazy. Comment scam on Matthew Perry's scam coin. You believe it is? Maybe you're just joking. I don't know. I mean, that's great. Good for him. All right. Baby G, it's all good, Max. No worries. Yeah, it just I'll test it out later. I'll try to get somebody else to help me out with that maybe later on the test stream. This sucks. It was working fine before I went to that darn Zoom meeting. Or it's not even a Zoom, it was a Google Meet, and it uses the same type of thing that StreamYard uses. It's kind of weird. All right, Rod, hey, man. Good to see you. You're always in the recorded. So glad you diversified outside of ISO 222. Crypto grabbing a bag of Jasmy, mostly thanks to Max Deep Dive. Max, if this thing is moons, I'm flying around the world to shake your hand for the good work. Thanks, man. You want to know something? It's currently speaking, it's my top performer so far. I mean, it's just crazy. It's kind of like, like watching like an NBA game or there's some star that like literally puts the whole team on his back. I mean, it's nuts. Like, I think earlier we saw 0.022 or 23. I mean, the way I look at it is like I turned $44,186 into a balance of a little over 20,500. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I have nothing to complain about. And we're not even at the height of a bull run. I mean, come on. There's a lot of things doing well. I mean, like I even saw, people give me criticism stuff by having SHIB. I mean, my God, like my SHIB is way up too. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's just like, wow, I just saw you know, ship is at like 13K for me right now, and it just literally went up like, was it like 3K within, like about a couple months or something like that. Filecoin's still doing well. I know you guys are on a bunch of stuff as well, but LCX, I saw my Dogecoin like starting to do some things. So there's really no complaints, man. I think it's pretty cool. Clearpool's doing something again. So good stuff. LCX a little bit. Anyway, there's a lot of things. All right. Still no sound. Yeah, that was a while back. I'm gonna get that fixed. Simon Greco. Hi, Max. Great content and Jasmy information. 100% best deep dives going. Thanks. It would have been a lot better if you guys could have saw or heard the visuals, but when I chop it up, you guys will get it. Maybe that'll be beneficial. All right. X marks the spot. Welcome. Glad to have you here. And Karen McCormick is in the house. Thank you for being here. Dennis Leal is here. Mediation and abundance. Do appreciate it, guys. I'm trying to see if you guys have anything specific in regards to comments and so on. So Cool Cat Crypto says great show. Maybe referring to somebody else's show. Joe Rogan had Cat Williams on his show today. They were talking about some super. Oh, okay. I was right on that one. It's okay. All right. But yeah, I've actually seen Joe Rogan in person back in 2003. It was like October 2003. He still had hair back then, and so did I. All right. Wow, international scam. That's funny. You want the PDF? Which one do you want? I think I mentioned which ones those were. There's a whole bunch of them. I mentioned it in the comment or when I was doing it live. All right, Crypto Future. He's heading to work. Have a great stream. Thank you so much, man. We'll have him on the show soon. What is the net of what he says? I don't know what you're referring to. Sorry about the audio problems. All right. Thanks, Just Forfeit, for being here. All right. And that was the last one I remember. So very cool stuff. Let's go back down to the bottom. And let's see here. Want to welcome Mr. WTF. All right. Little known fact, on our old game servers, the Moha back in the day, we used to have this filter just to do fun stuff. And if somebody typed in WTF, it would say wax on, wax off. It was hysterical. All right. Beeps. The bill passed. Japan's parliament gave the green light to VCs to invest in cryptocurrencies. Yeah, it's super cool, isn't it? Mr. Corey Bibe, aka Jasmy the Scam. Let's go. All right. Let's read this. Element Rage. RFID are used widely in supply chain management, and Hara-san did once mention that he had plans for Jasmy utility and supply chain management, right? Yeah. You also mentioned it in the AMA a while back too. I don't think it was the last AMA, but it was like maybe one last year. He mentioned a couple times. And some people were like, what are you talking about? Like, I remember people saying, what are you talking about, man? It's all about VeChain and Morpheus Network and, some of these other ones, right? But yeah, if you look more into it, it's like there is some references there. So you're going to break into the PDL? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. All right. What else we got? So we also have Brian Atchison. Welcome back. I always recognize your avatar, so thank you for that. What else we got? Yeah, you're very welcome. Love your passion for the facts, especially with Jasmy. It would have been a better show. I mean, my thing is this: like when you got all your ducks in a row with the research, and then you get an interruption, it's like you try to adjust for the interruptions. It's like, crap. I like everything to be flown like a well-oiled machine. So, but we work through it. So, and like I mentioned, when I chop it up, it'll be fine. But I've noticed here's something that's really cool. It's a good problem. So back in the day, the recorded content always got the most amount of like views and subs, and it wasn't as much on the live. Now it's the opposite. It's the live does better than the recorded. So it's very humbling and very cool. And I do appreciate you guys being here. Jay Reyes, wow, that was real educational. I enjoyed every minute. Thanks for your deep dives. Thanks, man. you know, it's just sometimes I'll do some of these things, and when you see like old Max is not with you guys for a few days, it's because I'm trying to not just be like, I want to confirm some things. Like for me, it was like there were so many patents to review from Tadashi Morita, and I was like, I gotta find one. I kept telling Minolog where I was like, there has got to be something here in regards to CMOS image sensors that he already did, or something that kind of plugs in with it to make it all happen. For to signify like, wow, when Jasmy scales up to this next thing that they're trying to do, obviously with optimism, and then also you know, Polkadot. Um, do we have something in place with a patent that would be a big deal? And then also in reference to all of a sudden Jasmine doing really well again, and then there's this thing about semiconductors, and then to see that plug of semiconductors with CMOS image sensors, and it's just like, all right, who's the guy? Who's the brainchild behind all this? And it's like, yep, Tadashi Morita. All right, he's done hundreds of patents. And then going through that list, oh my gosh, like that was really tiresome. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe there's only select people that are really gonna like try to pinpoint what I'm doing. And it's the researchers, but other researchers will try to confirm that as well. But um, I have to get it right, because I mean, if I don't get it right, I will be called out, and I don't want to be called out. And I'm not saying I'm right all the time. I'm not that type of person. Come on a live show and be like, yeah, I'm Mr. Right all the time. But my thing is, if I'm present research, I got to back it up with some actual, information or sources, So that's the way I look at it. I wanted to wear something different today. Um, Usually I'll wear this with like, um, sometimes with a nice shirt, but it's a sport coat, and I just I wanted to do something a little nice today. I was hoping for a big turnout, and we got a big turnout, and I wanted to wear something nice today. So there you go. I don't have a date or anything like that, so it's okay. All right, what else we got here? Boomer F is sooner. OG Caroline is stopping by Max's house later. Oh, jeez. Sweet Caroline, bomb, bomb, bomb. All right. Did Japan already approve companies to hold crypto? Well, that's a good question. I don't have the answer to that, but my main thing is when we recognize the tokenization, then I think there's a part of that is a yes. It's like some of these people like look at the big supply of some of this stuff and they're like, man, that's a big huge supply. But when you look at the greater picture, it's like, yeah, it's a big supply for a reason, because this will be used upon like the local municipalities and so on, to benefit the local economy. And how so? We talked about all the research with this. It's like a utility mechanism, whether it's the DD coin, whether it's JPY, um, Jasmy working with all that. It's so much more than just personal data or data democratization. We talk about finance democracy too. All right, that's good. Cool cat, right on, man. All right, Diogo Alves, if I'm pronouncing that right. We say informatica. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. In Portuguese, it's everything about computers and tech. Oh, okay. Are you from Portugal or are you from Brazil? I have most of my friends that are speaking Portuguese are from Brazil. I do have a few that actually are in Portugal too. All right. When correction in market. Thank you for being a member for 4 months, Mr. OG Crypto. So that link I gave you, OG, Investor Place felt as though it was going to come soon. Right now, as we speak, I think we might be getting a taste of it, but it's hard to say. I mean, even them, I mean, they don't get 100% right. I mean, in my opinion, they got it like 90%, 9 times out of 10. There will be another report on Saturday, and I don't know if I'm necessarily doing a show with Rob, Crypto Future, either tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday. But I think at some point, if I do the show on Saturday, obviously we'll have an update in that regard. But tune into the update. It's either Saturday, or if I'm with you on Sunday, or no later than Monday. It's usually how I do that. Give you guys that weekly update, but it will always come out after Saturday or on Saturday. All right, Beebs. Cordy Bibe says in this exact voice, I remember in the AMA, Halasan stated that he wasn't happy with Jasmy's Price performance, and not long after Jasmy shut up, maybe a holla made a couple of phone calls. Yeah, or maybe it's just it was a coincidence and things just went crazy. But I do notice that the guys with the puppy dog memes, always saying that Jasmy scam. It's been crickets for all those guys. Like they're not really posting a lot. Every once in a while, you see somebody, even the recorded videos, like in the comments, I'll see somebody that posts like, "Why are you promoting that ish coin?" And I'm like, or they'll be like, it's just a pump and dump, and it's just a scam. And I'll politely ask them, I'm like, all right, well, do you have anything to support your claims of why it's a scam? Like, do you have any research? Never get a reply. Never ever. All right, Jasmy looks like a national project. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. And that point to BlackRock theory. I talked about that too. Because you want to know something? Genki Yoda is part of the World Economic Forum, actually. Now you're on the floor. Cool cat crypto. Yes, indeed. Watching Wimby block shot every day. All right, Josh. Thanks, B, for answering the question. Cool. Let's read this. Brandon. Hopefully I pronounced that. Brendan Kilburn just got here, so time to rewind to listen from the start. Thanks, man. You're gonna notice I had some technical difficulties, so it is what it is. But I will chop it up. It won't necessarily be tonight, but I will chop it up. I probably will be tonight because you know what? I don't like going like 2 or 3 days without recorded content there because the YouTube algorithm rewards me. And then it's all of a sudden I don't have something there. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get punished. I went 2 days and there was really nothing, and that's not good. But so I probably will chop it up, and then if you want to rewind now, that's fine. If you want some of the video, then I am going to obviously give that to you guys. So. All right. What do you got? Parliament passed it today. I don't know if you're asking somebody else from something else. All right, let's see here. George Soros said that in the future, the American economy will decrease and everything will pump from Asia. All looks like making a lot of sense. What is he, like 93, 96 or something like that? He's up there. Yeah, thank you, man. I mean, again, like I'm really a guy where I like to everything just to be smooth sales, right? Like, no interruptions, and here's the videos. And so I was, there's always going to be, without fail, there's always somebody later on who doesn't like my content, and he'll point that out in the recorded area. And it is what it is. Like this one guy was just like, I don't need to hear you for 20 minutes, complain about your audio problems. I'm like, geez, man, excuse me for being, a human being. He's just, and then I had this other guy complain about my intros. Listen, like the majority of you guys give me props about my intros. You're like, man, you got great intros. This guy, he said that he's like, oh my God, your intro is a minute long. And actually I timed it. It was exactly 18 seconds long. And then he says, I had to watch it at 2x. So I'm like, okay, you watched it at 2x, then that means basically what? It was 8 seconds long for you. People just exaggerate and complain about whatever. It is what it is. Diogo Alves. Sorry again if I pronounce it wrong. Let me know how to pronounce it. You saw a video that one of Jasmy's directors spoke about economic revolution. Oh, the fourth industrial revolution, probably. It's all guided to Big Guy's project. Yeah. Dennis Chong, thank you for the emails. Again, there'll be some things I won't take necessarily all of it, but there is some good content that you shared, so I do appreciate it. Thank you for that. Boom, I did email you back. Max about to mash potatoes of OG Caroline. Oh my goodness. Well, if you don't know, now you know, right? Mike Cornwell points out that, there's a particular whoever that I'm supposed to be, into, and that's not true, but whatever. And if Mike Cornwell is watching right now, He's literally saying out loud who it is, and that is not true, Mike. And it never was true. But yes, shout out to you. But yes, misinformation, Mr. Cornwell, fake news. All right. Dennis Chong, Japan's finance chief Paul Chan, proposes to proceed, which will be reviewed at second time on March 13th. That's cool. I'm glad you're on top of that, man. Look at this. You and Tim Shea are on top of this stuff when it comes to sharing info, when it comes to like sharing like other content creators, maybe like the links and stuff. But thank you for that, Dennis Chong. Guys, welcome. Dennis Chong, we've been seeing you a little bit more often. I always like to welcome people that we consistently see. And if you're new to the channel, we have a very welcoming community here. I'm not talking about necessarily you, Dennis, but all you guys. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we are a very unique community. We put a lot of focus on obviously, the deep dive research, but it's not just that. It's welcoming other community people, trying to be polite to people, not being so like jerks to people and so on. There is a little bit of degen talk here and there. And it's okay. You guys could be yourselves, but so on. But very thankful for this community. If you're wondering how long the actual community's been around, the channel hasn't been around. It's been reactivated since last September. But as far as the community, this coming late April or mid-April will be 2 years. So if you're wondering how long the community's been here, it's been 2 years. So pretty cool stuff. Thank you for being part of our community. Boomer F and Sooner, it's up there. New Karate Kid comes out next year with Machio and Jackie Chan. That should be cool. I still prefer the TV series Cobra Kai. I really like that show. You probably recognize that too, aren't you? All right, cool, cat. Ollie Skipwith, Max, what do you think about Globians and their current STO? I don't know. A while back, I was thinking about getting into Globians, and I chose not to. That's no bash on Globians. I just chose not to. I still like XDC, but I didn't get into Globians. I guess some knock on. I just decided that at the time there was other sales. Believe it or not, I think at the time I was going to get into Globians, I decided to buy more Jasmy. But it is what it is. I mean, right now, I don't even know if I get into much of anything else. Okay, can I just make an announcement real quick? How about this real quick? I don't know if Jack Thompson is watching, Legrand Commission is watching, whoever is watching. Shout out to you guys. I just want to state this. I'm fully aware that you guys want me to cover, and even Michael Middleton, shout out to him too. You guys really want me to cover XPR. My policy is this. I could do an introduction to anything. But as far as consistent coverage, I like to be personally invested into things. I'm not trying to cover things just for views. I think that's kind of hypocritical personally. So my thing is, I'd rather cover things that I'm personally invested into. But there's been a lot of requests, right, for XPR Proton. I'm fully aware of that. And my thing is, I want to always create a sense of value with the content and so on. And in reality, whether it's tomorrow or next week, yes, supply and demand. Obviously, we talk a lot about Jasmy lately because it's doing some big things. But at the same time, I do want to respect. We have a lot of communities here, and I do want to get back to like a normal coverage. If Jasmy goes to the moon tomorrow or something, I mean, come on. I probably will still talk about that, but I do recognize, there's a lot of things to cover BSV. There's a lot of things to cover about SHX. There's probably some things to cover with Ripple's XRP. Ripple's XRP is hit or miss on this channel. It's kind of like if I was to talk about Shiba Inu on this channel, it's going to be hit or miss. I got to also respect my time that, I put into some of these deep dives and stuff. So, yeah, definitely want to recognize still what's going on with Stellar, Sorbonne, all that. So there's a lot of things we talk about, right? Shout out to GG, Digital G gave me some info in regards to something that's not even technically yesterday's news or today's news in regards to Nexera. So my thing is, I always want to get back into this. Elon Musk, Mike Cornwell has tagged me on X in regards to some new developments that's worth paying attention for Casper. So we covered quite a few different communities. Even I myself, I mean, there's only like maybe a handful of you guys into Clearpool. Like I covered Clearpool from the beginning of this YouTube channel, and there's some things that stand out, but there's only so much time in the day. I'm not complaining, but long answer, right? My bad. Anyway, I have nothing against Colobians. It could very well still do good at the height of the bull run, but I'm not personally into it. So actually, I think I was into it for a little bit, and then I swapped it for something else. Can't remember. All right. Yeah, not bad, right? I mean, considering how old he is now, isn't he like pushing 60 or something? All right, let's see here. Light is in the house. Good to see you, Light. Always appreciate seeing you, man. Yeah, you best man too. All right. What else we got? Hiro Tamani. More on the Copa versus Dr. Wright case, please. Yeah, I know, man. Trust me, I'm fully aware of that. Needing to get back into that. So um got some connection problems right now. So sorry about that. The last couple of days there's been like really bad dust storms here in the Phoenix area. The other night I had to pull the car over for like 20 minutes. I was stuck in one. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? GS is in the house. And let them cry. Yeah, some of them do. The majority of it, people here are pretty polite, even in the recorded. So James Bree, Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam said in the 1930s that the US dollar would fall and that there would be a new money system coming from outside of America. All right. Daniel's son got pasta sauce dumped on him and missed Ali's left hook. What the heck? Balaclava man, may I ask what else you were invested into? Oh my God. And in terms of interest in research, sure. Okay. So where do we start? You guys ready to get bored with all this? Okay, let's see here. Obviously, Jasmy. There's Shiba Inu because I mean, the way I look at it, anything I did well last bull market, I kind of have, it's kind of like, what if it happened to you? You'd be like, well, why not just put some more into that too? So, Jasmy, Shiba Inu, Filecoin. I mean, those three I have a lot. LCX. How about this? Can I just do this? How about this? What ones I'm in profits? All right, because there's a lot of things I'm not in the profits because I overpay for it, like ADA. I have a bunch of ADA, but I overpay for it. So Jasmy, obviously, way up in the profits. It's my top performer so far this year. I'm up, earlier was up 500%. So it says I'm up 408% Jasmy. So, all right. So Jasmy, Shiba Inu in the profits, Filecoin profits, Dogecoin in the profits, LCX profits, XRP profits, the graph. Can I just mention this one real quick? I'm actually happy about this one. Came in at 6 cents on the graph. It's at 30 cents. I'm up 278% in profit on that particular one. Only put $330 into it. Man, I should have put more into it, but it's worth. It fluctuates between $12.50 and $1300. So, yeah, 278% profit, more than ecstatic. HNT in the profits. BSV, shout out to Cool Cat Crypto and the crew, right? In the profits, baby. And listen to this. Got some more. I did some work for a particular guy. I won't mention who he is. Some of you guys know who that particular guy is. But anyway, so did some work for him, and basically I obtained another BSV for kind of doing some work. This is a while back. Anyway, so now because there was no fee on that technically because I didn't buy it. Now my average DCA, Cool Cat, because I know you're always paying attention to this, is $26.50. Go gadget, right? Before my average DCA of BSV was $30. So how cool is that? Yes, in the profits on BSV. I need to get more BSV though. I don't quite have 10 BSV. But I'm working my way towards it. It takes time. Can't be into everything unless you're Elon Musk. But I want to get more, and I think Cool Cat's right when he tells you like at least have one. That's a good way of looking at it. You know what I mean? Like it's none of this is financial advice. We all had different budgets. It's not unless you're me and Will Fix and Mike Cornwell having a portfolio measuring test. It shouldn't be about that, right? All right. Algorand in the profits. What else we got in the profits that I'm really big up on that cover a lot? All right, that's pretty much it. Casper, I'm not in the profits anymore. I'm down $18. ALBT Nexera, I was in the profits, down about $30, but I mean, I feel very bullish on those, obviously. So I covered a lot of that. Stellar, I'm actually down $233. I'm not in the profits on that one. I think I will be after Sorbonne does his thing. That's just my own prediction. So we talk about that a lot. Polygon Manic, I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm down about $353 on that one. Eventually, I think I'll be in the profits. What else do we talk about a lot? I guess we talk about Luna Classic quite a bit. Way down on Luna Classic, 48% down. I am $2,000 down. Right, so my bag to be break even would be roughly 4,300. I'm at like 2,200, but I'm also doing staking. So I originally had 15 million in Luna Classic, and now I have like 18.5 million, which is cool. BTT, once in a while we talk about it. I did a video. Anyway, I think that sums it up, man. And then if the other ones I'm not mentioning is poo coins, your meme coins and so on. My Byte's up. I forgot about that. Shout out to XXI Gaming. Byte. I'm up on my Byte. I did a video about Byte. I rarely talk about meme tokens, but I do feel as though that's our second chance at Floki. And no, I'm not paid by them and so on. So let me see what other comments you guys got before we wrap things up. Let's see. Flare, yeah. Yeah, there was Flare. All right. Hey, Max, how's your old man doing? Oh, geez. He passed away December 14th, but that's okay. He didn't know. He's with, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's back in with my mom. He's in the kingdom of heaven. Way better place. No longer suffering. I don't think he would, to be honest, I always said this to people. I said, we always talk about this generational wealth, but I think if we had a taste of real heaven, we wouldn't trade it for this. But some people disagree. That's just my opinion. So, all right. Kudos to BSV. Thanks, man. Max get paid in BSV now. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, because we were talking about like, getting paid in crypto. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to get paid, Stellar or XRP? And I was like, to be honest, I hit my goals for all those, right? So I was like, I haven't hit my goals for BSV. I was like, literally thinking of you, man. I was like, I could use some more BSV. And he's like, all right, well, let's do BSV. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So that was cool. Yeah, you're very welcome. All right. So what else we got? 2026 KPI realistic. Oh man, I mean, it's hard to say on 2026, but my thing is by the end of 2025, before 2026, I think conservatively speaking, I think honestly like $1. I mean, even at $1, right? That's a 49 to 50 million, or it's about $50 billion market cap. So that's a 50x from where we're at right now. I think that's more than doable, personally. So there it is. All right, before I wrap things up, I need to take off some of this branding for a second. I meant to do this at the very beginning because I'm probably going to do a little bit more often, and if people don't like it, I mean, it is what it is, come on. I produced like 2 years of straight content without any sponsor or anything like that. So I'm going to show you guys just something real quick, here. Yeah, right here. Let me pull it up on the channel for a second. All right. And let me see where it's at. So I'll pull up like 3 links. All right. Let's get right into it. So to close things out, some of you guys have asked, what cold storage do I use? And I actually use a couple, right? I use Ledger still. But the one I actually like the most, ironically, is the Decent wallet. And while I can't store, BSV because of lost support and so on, the majority of my crypto, I do try to go with the Decent wallet. If you're interested in a Decent wallet, keep in mind that you will be benefited in regards to this. So some of you guys are saying, oh, you're just a paid shill. No, I'm not a paid shill, but get this. If you want a discount, were you aware that you have to actually go through people like us to get those particular discounts? So how cool is that? So I'm going to show you guys this one. Basically, it is the all-in-one card wallet. I did see somebody recently get this. I thought it was pretty cool. We come out of the frame on this. So this is the all-in-one card wallet plus backup. not too bad. I mean, it's easy. You could carry it around with you and so on. Um, maybe you want to check it out. Maybe you already have a decent wallet. I do want to make this aware to you guys. You will get a 13% off discount compared to just going straight to the decent wallet site. So there's a benefit in regards to that. If you're the type of person, once you want to get two of these for you and your wife, or you and your children and so on, there's the biometric wallet 2x package. You get a bigger discount, obviously, for getting two of them. And then on top of that, there is, let me see here, this one, which I imagine most people would just go with this, but it's a significant discount. Don't go straight to the store.decentwallet.com and just get it from there. You're not gonna get that discount. So if you appreciate the content, as the saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. I mean, this is so easy to use, and basically speaking, I mean, come on. I mean, I have it hooked up with my phone. You can easily see what's on there. And how about this, guys? For all of us who are still into XDC, one of the biggest complaints, right, was with the ledger, and that is making that stupid custom folder and going through all the hoops of trying to get XDC on your ledger. You don't have to do that with what? You don't have to do that with the Decent wallet. So I thought that was pretty darn cool. And hopefully, they'll continuously add more support for more coins and tokens and so on. But yeah, there basically is. If I don't really ask you guys to click on stuff all the time or anything like that. But it does help the channel. So check it out, especially if you don't have cold storage. You need cold storage. I think everybody will agree on that. Just keeping everything on exchanges is not really the way to go. I mean, if you're doing staking, you're doing staking. I get it, right? Like I do staking as well, but not everything. So definitely look into that. Another announcement I want to make real quick before we wrap things up in regards to Caspa. So officially, if you want to count this, some of you guys in the past, like, Max, why don't you cover Caspa, bro? Like, Caspa's amazing. Yeah, I understand that. Guess what? I will be giving you guys content, may do a collaboration also with Will Fix. Him and I decided to go in together on a Caspa miner. So we will be starting that. I think it will go live, all right, because it takes time to have it set up and so on, from the report like Wednesday or Thursday of next week. I'm so excited about that. Really, really am. Because for one, the way I look at it is passive income. It provides us over 500 Caspa per day. Of course, we're splitting that. And my thing is this. So that in itself, we talk about reaching goals. Everybody has goals, right? Like, so, Jasmy, I hit my goals. I didn't hit all my goals. Like, my new goals was like 3 million, right? But where the case be, if I say to myself, like, all right, I could use some more quant. Who couldn't use more quant? I could use some more BSV. Who couldn't use more BSV? Stellar, you name it, right? In my opinion, this is going to be an enabler for me, and to anybody else really that kind of, also does a similar type thing with mining. So some people that asked me also, they said, I don't understand the whole thing about mining. And that's a good common thing. I mean, I'm just now getting into it. So I'm not really an expert, but I will share my journey in regards to mining because, it's interesting. So one thing I have gathered is this, okay, before we wrap things up completely. So my buddy, right? I work for him part-time. My buddy Jerry, and he pointed out, he says, why don't you just do BTC mining or something like that, or this other one you're talking about, BSV. Well, let's focus on BTC for a moment, all right? That's a common question. Why don't you just go with that? Oh my God, BTC is over 60K. Why don't you just do that? Here's the analogy for that. This is a visualization I used to teach, so hopefully this will be easy to follow. Picture, for instance, a giant pizza pie. And when it comes to Caspa, you are still getting a slice of that pie. Now, it might not be the biggest piece of pie, but you're still getting a slice of that pie. Okay? So the way I look at it is this. At current prices for Caspa, even if Caspa didn't go up, between him and I together, we're looking at about $2,000 a month for Caspa. In regards to how much coins are mined per day and so on. If Caspa does a 2x, which I think it will by the halving, that's just my prediction. Don't FOMO in, not financial advice. then that means basically that's like 4K a month in mining. Okay. Now we get it. Those prices won't stay around forever, but I also look at it from the point of view like, look how long it took BTC to not really be lucrative in regards to mining. Here's an example I also want to give. BTC in regards to that giant pizza pie. All right. You mine BTC. Are you getting a slice of the pie? Well, no, because so many people over the years, since 2009 to present, especially with all the halving events and so on, you have to keep in mind you're now getting not just crumbs, but you're getting fractions of crumbs. What happens after the halving? Even more fractions of fractions of fractions of crumbs. So, the way I look at it, it's more lucrative, makes more sense to do Caspa mining. Again, that's just my opinion. Some people might want to disagree with it, but I'm looking at it from a perspective, literally like a visualization, as the saying goes. Pizza pie, I'm getting a slice of the Caspa pie. BTC, I'm literally getting fractions and fractions of crumbs. And so, why do people mine BTC? Well, I think for the reason why a lot of people mine BTC. You are literally mining it for a loss and you're hoping for the future of when it takes off. So, people have been mining it since it was like at the prices of, you know, like when things crashed during FTX when it was like 15,700 and they were mining all that time up into present. I guess they're pretty, that's not bad, right? But I'm also looking at it from the perspective like, what if I was mining it right now? Well, I'm mining it right now. I'm in the hopes of that, you know, BTC is going to go to over, 100 or 120,000. So let's just round off 60,000 BTC. So my hopes is I get to do a 2x at 120,000. To me, that is just not worth it compared to Caspa with its current mining rewards and so on. And we can agree to disagree. There's probably some people here that mine Caspa and give better examples. But again, I just want to share that, and that's I guess you could say the start of this journey of for me with Caspa. So I'm excited to talk more about it as time goes by and give you guys reports. I want to give you like a daily report because I mean, shoot, the thing is not even hooked up yet. Like I said, Wednesday or Thursday, but I can't stop thinking about it. I'm really excited about it and thought I'd give it to you guys in that regard. All right. So what I'm going to do now is just recognize, I guess you could say, the last bit of comments, see if there's anything else. And then we really will wrap it up because we're at 2 hours and 38 minutes. Something's kind of somewhat going on with my connection. So I do apologize for that. So let's see here. Yes, I did read some of that. What's this says? What's this say from Boomer? Old witness lady needed Coke bottle glasses to see. You want to know something? I haven't had a single Coca-Cola for over a month. That's like a world record for me. That used to be my favorite drink. Probably still is, but I gotta quit. I had to quit drinking sugar, man. I do have a lot more energy now, which is cool. Exit videos makes Jasmy pump. No, I don't have that type of influence, man. There's no way. There's no way I'm threading the needle. I mean, there's guys. What's his name? Austin Hilton or Shiba Inu and some of those other guys, right? You know how they mentioned that too. That they got like a way bigger platform over 200,000. They don't thread the needle when it comes to that. There's no way. There's just no way. If it seems like it, like after the stream is over, it pumps. That is just a coincidence. But thank you. That's flattering. All right. Yeah, I love that movie. My cousin Vinny. That movie's so fun. I've probably seen that movie over 100 times. Do you think $17 is possible in 2026 and why? I do think it's possible. And I've done many reasons why that I won't get into right now because that's the whole purpose of all the deep dives I've done. So go to the video section. You will see multiple reasons why. Actually, on a thumbnail on one particular video, if you go down into it, right, you will see Kunitaki Ando and it will say 17 and the reasons why. Watch that video. Don't let me re-explain it here. I'm just saying, watch that video. Okay. That's not me griping. I'm just saying. All right. Is Jasmy getting a wallet? Yeah, the super wallet. All right. What else is here? Elmo ERC is the burn token. Cool. HTN, thank you for watching. And Be Sincere's in the house. Thank you, man. You can do it. Do it. Do it now. Get HTN on the show. She wanted to do a live stream. They would do a Twitter space with you a long time ago. Get HTN. Do it. Do it now. No, all right. I'm done. All right. Enough about that. Terrell is in the house. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the nice, kind words that you shared on X. And Cool Cat Crypto is now Cool Cat Coding. My God. Max, awesome. Them Cokes are very bad. I know they are. I don't smoke. I don't drink, but that was my bad habit. And, you know, I still to this day, you know, pizza and Coke, freaking juicy burger and Coke. But the main thing is the high fructose corn syrup, man. Like that contributes to so much weight gain. I researched a little bit more about that finally, and I was like, oh my God. So, but if I had to have a soda pop, I go with a Diet Mountain Dew. Some people say, well, that's still poison, but it's still a heck of a lot better than all those calories from a Coke, you know? It is what it is. So, well, then go get a Mexican Coke, Max, and it's just all sugar. Well, I don't really want any more sugar. I'm trying to like just no sugar, but you know, there's sugar in almost everything if you really think about it. Yeah, that's if you want to know what I'm on, I'm basically on that, you know. Yeah. I'm not going too crazy. I mean, all the other diets I've tried in the past, I would go crazy. Like no carb. I mean, I tried no carbs, but not necessarily keto. I'm okay with it, you know. I'm not going too crazy. You get what I'm saying? So, and there's sometimes like, you know, I'll say, okay, I'll have like a little bit of carbs, like maybe 50 grams of carbs in the whole week. And I think I'm allowed technically like 25 a day or something. So it's not like I'm cheating on it. And then as far as like candy, I don't do candy. I gave away all my candy. Like I got a bunch of, you know, was it Fruit Loop candy canes during Christmas time? I was like, give me a break. I'm like, yeah. I was like, here, take this back, you know, because it's just junk, you know, and like ice cream and stuff like that. I still have it once in a while, you know, because I mean, the way I look at it is, I'm trying in my own way, you know, so I need to get back really into it, you know, but it is what it is. I'll figure something out. But yeah, having more energy is a good thing. Any advice on a safe wallet for BRC20 tokens? I don't know off the top of my head. You know, like, is there any specific one from that you're talking about? I'm crazy. Yeah. Well, I did a 6-day. Oh, you're talking about my Arnold. Do it. Come on, Max. You and HTN wanted to do a Twitch space in the past. Yeah, that's true. I think that's what you're talking about. Just cutting out. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, as far as like the regular stuff, I agree. I know it's a huge difference. Oh yeah, I definitely would say that. If you see examples of somebody who is a content creator and they're like, I got into Jasmy, here's my proof. I got into Jasmy at 0.003 or 0.05 or whatever the case be. And literally Jasmy's at $17 and they're saying on a live show, I didn't sell a single token. Then what the hell are you doing, man? You like, do you even really own this stuff? You know, it makes me question. It's like we all have to have an exit plan at some point. Like, what the heck? That would be ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be selling my whole bag at 17. You better believe it. I'd be why? Because I'd be worth at what I have right now, I'd be worth $17 million just off of Jasmy. Of course I would do that. You know, as much as like coming on and doing a show and stuff, like we could still talk about the stuff, but I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, bye. You know, I'm not married to this stuff. You bring great dishonor by selling you sell at $17. Well, sorry. You know? All right, house seltzer water, cola flavor. Cool. Xverse wallet. Awesome. All right, you guys. Like I said, check out the links in the description. I don't normally always say that, but you know, it does help. And then we'll see you guys possibly tomorrow or Saturday. I know that you know some people point out they're like, "Come on, man! You said that the show is Monday through Thursday. We had some interruptions, and also at the same time, I was just like obsessed with trying to connect all the dots. And I'll try not to be so obsessive over it and realize, look, man, it's not the biggest deal. you know. But in my opinion, it was a big deal. And I was just like, it was driving me crazy. Now, the other day, I was like, I want to do a show, but these dots are not fully connected. And then when I saw it and I went into it, and I did more research, I was like, yes, let's share this. So, boom, there you go. And good night to Kat. Good morning, Hot Max. Hi, all. We're going to wrap up the show. So, Kat's probably like, what the heck? I just got here. That's all right. Have a great night, everybody. Sayonara from the Race Cup Consortium. Let's go. 3 cent Jasmy. Let's go. Corey Bibe. That's a scam. Let's go. Entire crypto market crash. Scam. Let's go. Smash that like. Not a scam. Let's go. Sayonara. Wait. Bye-bye.